everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. You guys, we're going to be talking about some pretty intense stuff in this video. If you guys have watched Love After Lockup, then you know who Lindsey Downs is. You know who her daughter, Mylie, is. And if you slightly keep up with them since the show has ended, then you may think that they've been doing great. Lindsey regained custody of Mylie not long after she got out of prison, and they seem to be doing good. But if you keep a close eye on them, you may have went down the rabbit hole of the things that's been happening over the past like a couple weeks, maybe months. But it seems like we're just finding out about it now. I went down the rabbit hole today. I had someone reach out to me. I follow Lindsey on social media. Okay, I do follow Lindsey on social media, and I saw where she was like suing someone, and I didn't really pay much mind to it until somebody reached out to me and they said, "Elle, you have to look into this. You have to dig into this. This is crazy." So today I spent hours going down the rabbit hole of what's going on between Lindsey and her daughter Mylie, and it's pretty heartbreaking and disturbing. So we're going to start this video off with a trigger warning. We're going to be talking about allegations of abuse and things of that nature. So if you can't watch this video, then you may need to skip it. That's okay. Also, I do need to give a little bit of a disclaimer before we get into the topic. I want to be clear that everything that we discuss in this video is based on allegations and publicly available information. I'm not claiming that any individual mentioned in this video is guilty of a crime. Now, I will state my opinion, but I'm not saying that they are 100% guilty of a crime. All parties are presumed innocent unless proven otherwise. We know how that works, right? My intent is to comment on the situation, tell you guys about the situation, comment on the situation as it is being reported, give you guys my opinions on the situation. This video is for commentary and entertainment purposes only, so please do your own research. Okay, so now that we got all of that out of the way, I'm going to kind of start with you. I'm going to kind of start with where I started today, okay? So someone sent me a video and said, watch these videos of Lindsey's daughter, Mylie. So that's where I started with Mylie's videos. Here's what you do need to know if you are just like, I don't know what's going on here. So the older girl, the blonde in the brown shirt in this picture, that is Lindsey Downs. She is a reality TV star. She was on Love After Lockup. This is her daughter here, the younger girl with the blonde hair and the purple streaks, the highlights in it. So Lindsey was in prison for like drug related charges. I think when she went to prison, Mylie was around 3 years old. She served 4.5 years in prison. Mylie was raised by her grandmother, Lindsey's mom. She got out of prison and she was already dating some guy. She had this, that's how she came to be on Love After Lockup. While she was in prison, she was dating this guy and she immediately got out of prison, moved in with this guy. She did not regain custody back of Mylie during that time. I do think she went back to jail because the guy that she was dating had her arrested for like destruction of private property. She went to jail again for a little bit of time and then she got out. And she was dating Deontay. If you guys remember Deontay, who was also on the show. So she was dating Deontay and she moved in with a friend of hers who she eventually started dating him and allegedly cheated on Deontay with her guy friend who she was living with, allegedly. And then she dated him for a while and she proposed to him. And she did regain custody back of Mylie during that time. But I don't think she regained custody back of Mylie until maybe Mylie was like 11. I don't know the exact ages, but we can say that Mylie was raised for the better half of her life by her grandmother, okay? Not by Lindsey, because Lindsey was dealing with her demons and she allegedly overcome those demons and she, regained custody of Mylie and it seemed that they were doing great. The guy that she was engaged to, they did end up breaking up and she was single for a while. She was doing great. I remember seeing like the pictures of Lindsey posting where she had graduated. She had got her BA. I think she got her BA, right? And she had posted her picture. She graduated from Ole Miss. And I was like, dude, that's so crazy. That's so awesome that she's come this far, that she's overcome recovery and she has graduated. She's got custody back of her daughter. I was like, they do recover. Great. That's awesome. Well, Lindsey started dating this man named Chad. Chad seemed to be very well off, pretty wealthy. He owns his own car dealership. He lives on this big farm, this big ranch. And Lindsey ended up moving in with him, and so did her daughter, Mylie. Well, things seem to be great, right? Lindsey was on the up and up. She had graduated. Now she's the manager at this car dealership that her boyfriend owns. They ended up getting engaged. But behind the scenes, according to Mylie, Lindsey's boyfriend, now fiance, was abusive. And Lindsey became abusive or allowed the abuse to happen to the point where CPS became involved when they did see Mylie. There was bruises on Mylie that they did take pictures of. Mylie was allowed to live with her father. And so that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to start you guys on the video that I started on, just so you guys now have a little bit of backstory onto what's happening. So we're going to start with a video of Mylie that she put out just like yesterday, I think, on her TikTok, where she explains like what went down with her mom. Okay. Oh, Flower Girl, we're gonna go over the text messages. Oh, we're definitely gonna look at the text messages. Believe that. All right, you guys let me know if y'all can hear. Okay.
With my mother, Lindsey Downs. I have not spoken up due to the fact that I've been trying to be the bigger person, but lies have been told about me and my family, and when it comes to my family, then it's a problem for me. So first, I'm going to address the lies, and then I'm going to tell my story. So first, I want to address the lies that have been told about my family and my home. It has been said that my home is overcrowded and unsanitary. My stepmom.
And when she says her home, she is now living with her dad and her stepmom. And these are allegations that Lindsey made that Mylie is living in a home that is dirty and overcrowded.
Hayden is a stay-at-home mom who stays at home and cleans all day long. There's just no way my house is unsanitary. And my family built onto their house to make me a bedroom just so that I would have a bedroom to myself and it would not be overcrowded at all. The next thing that has been told.
I do want you guys to keep this in mind, and listen, I'll probably stop and commentate on it. Keep this in mind. She's saying her family added on to the house so she would have her own room, because a claim that Lindsey seems to be making is that Mylie's dad and stepmom wants her for the money. She's like, oh, 3 days after they obtained her, they filed for child support. I would be curious to know, like, if Mylie's dad paid child support over the years when Mylie's grandmother had her, or if, when Lindsey was able to get custody of Mylie, if he paid child support. But yeah, that was a big thing that she like honed in on, that he filed for child support 3 days after he got custody of her. And I'm like, listen, if this man and his wife have children of their own, I'm not sure if they do, but if they do, they would definitely know that the little amount that you're going to get in child support more than likely is not going to cover the cost that it takes to raise a child. Not going to happen. And here's the thing: if Mylie's dad and stepmom had no kids, and they're looking at Lindsey as, oh, her man's rich, we're going to get a lot of child support, so it'll be in our best interest. It'll be beneficial to us if, yes, we take Mylie on and we get child support because we get a big old check. It's going to cost more to raise a 16-year-old. She's going to need she's going to need school clothes, cell phone, a car at some point, put her on the insurance, the groceries. Okay, they have a 5-year-old, so they know it would be way easier. I don't think they're in it for the money. I don't know them, but if they have children, then they know a little bit that they're going to get child support is probably not going to cover the actual cost of what it's going to take to have a 16-year-old living with them. Anyways, let's continue. Also note, they built onto their house. If what Mylie is saying is the truth, and I have no reason to doubt her. You guys know that I am certified in body language, and I did watch her, and I didn't see any cues of like deception. She seemed very comfortable in what she was saying. She even steepled a lot. She was very like, and usually that we see people steepling, just think of like this: preachers, professors, like people that like, that's a sign of like being very confident in what you're saying, and she was very like doing that a lot. So I don't have any reason to doubt what Mylie is saying. So let's continue.
Is that I am vaping and doing drugs. I am doing neither of which.
Listen to this.
I have been to the doctor, and my doctor and my parents have helped me quit, because in the past I did, but they have
This, okay, you guys are going to get so annoyed with me. You're going to get so annoyed with me because I have so much to say about this. She says, I don't do that. My dad and stepmom took me to the doctors to help me quit. So basically, she's saying she must have vaped and did the RUGS at her mom's house, but her dad and her stepmom maybe care enough about her to be like, you know what, that's not a good idea. We're not going to let you do that here. So we're going to take you to get you help for that. Okay, good, good. I'm glad you guys don't mind hearing my opinion. But her saying, yes, I did it, but I don't anymore. So did Lindsey allow you to do it? And now you're living in a house to where they are like, we're not going to allow it, but we'll do what we need to do to help you stop doing those things.
helped me quit. Now, there is a picture circling the internet of me with a vape in my hand. That is from March of 2025 when I was living with my mom. That picture is not from now. You can tell that it is not from now. Ever since I have moved in here, I have had fun colors in my hair. There was no color in my hair at the time. This is the picture circling the internet, and you can very clearly tell that it is not from now. Due to the physical.
Okay, she's saying she's never been on drugs. She's referring to the vape. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. That she's referring strictly to the vape. So, where do the rumors for the drugs come from? Like, is her mama really trying to accuse her of being on drugs? I would think, I don't know. Listen, watching Mylie on the show, you still don't get like a very complete picture of who someone is when you watch them on a show that's literally like 20 minutes of their life out of 5 months. You know what I'm saying? But she always struck me as the type of girl that she saw what happened with her mom, that she would probably be the type to not want to, at minimum, do drugs. Like maybe she would do other things like bake, drink. I did see that, and we are going to go over that. Lindsey allowed her to drink and bought her condoms. And Lindsey admits that. And Lindsey even says something in a video that we're going to watch later to where she basically is admitting that that Mylie vaped while she was in her custody. And I'll point that out when we get to that part.
And emotional stress that Lindsey put me through, I now take a low dosage of Lexapro because I was having severe depression and anxiety.
Can I just say that pisses me off as a mother of 6 children? If you have a child that when they leave your home, they have to get on medication for anxiety, something is amiss there. Sorry. This is more, in my opinion, it's more than like she just didn't want to abide by the rules, so she went to live with her daddy. Like, listen, I have 6 children, and I had a child that did not want to abide by my rules and did go live with her dad. But it was not, she didn't need no medication because we were, it was just like, no, you guys are a little too strict, and I'm gonna go live with my dad because he's the fun parent. And when I go to his house on the weekends, he don't make me do anything, and he just takes me to do fun things. And which what happened was when she moved in with her dad, it took all of maybe 2 months for her to realize, oh, if I stay here more than a few days, my dad has rules too. So where do I want to live? My mom's house or my dad's house? And she ended up coming back home because she realized it didn't matter where she was going to be. There were going to be rules. I don't know how long Mylie's been at her dad's house, but I'm sure she eventually will realize, oh, there's rules at my dad's house as well. And think of this. Okay, so Mylie is dating Bo. Bo is Chad's son. Chad is the stepdad. Mylie could have continued residing with her mother, with the man that will be her stepdad, with her boyfriend, living in this big fancy nice house, going on these nice vacations, dressing nice, having a vehicle. But she gave all that up to go live with her dad and not live with her boyfriend. And not, I don't know financially where her parent, her dad and her stepmom stand. So maybe they're very well off as well. But you should ask yourself, what 16-year-old is going to give up living with their boyfriend to live with their dad, who allegedly wasn't too present in her life, from my understanding? You know what I'm saying? So let's continue. And yes, there are a lot of people talking about the fact that Mylie was dating her step brother, which he's not her step brother yet. But I watched a video about this and it made a lot of sense. That when Lindsey and Chad would go places like vacations and everything, they would bring Bo and Mylie, but they would leave Bo and Mylie like in the Airbnb or in the wherever they were staying, so they could go off and do stuff. So they could go off and gamble. They could go off and do this. So basically, Mylie and Bo ended up kind of bonding. They were both allegedly being abused, and so they kind of bonded over that. Maybe that's what kind of drew them together. So, anyways, let's continue. Yes, they would leave them no food while they travel, she said. That is a claim that is also being made, is that, yeah, they would leave them no food. So, yeah.
This medicine has helped me a lot in the past 2 months, and it has done a lot for me. The next thing I want to address is the rumors about my boyfriend and his mother. I would just like to say that Danielle is the best mother to her children, and none of the such things that have been said have actually happened. No, I do not live with my boyfriend. No, there is no photo of us laid up together, and no, we have not been at that house unsupervised. Also, it was said that my boyfriend is about to turn 18 years old. He just turned 16 of April in this year. He will be 17 of April of 2026. I will be 17 in July of 2026. He is nowhere near 18 years old. Now, Lindsey is not a suitable parent, and I will explain why. She has claimed to be taking a low dosage of Effexor for anxiety. This is not true. This medicine that she takes, I'm not entirely sure what it is for, but without it, she does not.
I'm going to stop here because Lindsey does address this, and she shows her prescription bottle and she shows herself taking it, which I thought that's a little dramatic. You don't have to show your bottle and show yourself taking it if you're confident and like saying, listen, I do take that. But Mylie is very clear that she don't think it's Effexor, but she also says, I don't know what it is. But what she claims, how her mom reacts with or without it, I think that is kind of equivalent to like if someone desperately needs this medication, without it, they could have like withdrawals and have mood swings and things like that. So I think probably what it is it probably is the medication that Lindsey has said. Maybe Molly just thinks that it's something like an antipsychotic because of the mood swings when she's not taking it. That's my 2 cents on that.
Not act like a normal human being. She is completely dependent on this medicine. Without it, she is a very angry person. She's out of control and very emotionally unstable. And with her trying to get pregnant right now, she is not taking the medicine like she should. And I have seen firsthand the way she acts without this medicine, and it is not okay. She also drinks on this medicine, which is not recommended at all. Her go-to is a sex on the beach, which she has every single time that we go to a Mexican restaurant, which if you're from the South, you know is pretty often. They go to bars and horse races, and she drinks at all of these, and drinking on this medicine is not safe at all. This is just one reason that proves that mentally and emotionally she is not stable enough to be a parent.
Okay, I am going to comment on the medication because I did a little research on can you drink if you are on Effexor, and it says it is not recommended, even if you're on a low dose, because alcohol and Effexor interact in ways that can amplify side effects and affect your mental health. Why it's not ideal. They can cause stronger side effects. Alcohol can make Effexor common side effects much worse. Dizziness, drowsiness, impaired coordination, nausea, faster heartbeat. Even 1 or 2 drinks can hit hard. Mood and anxiety effects. Effexor works on serotonin and I don't know that word. Alcohol is a depressant. Drinking can increase anxiety the next day. It can make depression symptoms worse. It can reduce the benefit of your medication. There's a higher risk of blackouts, emotional crashes. So her saying like, oh, I don't think it's Effexor. I think she's on something stronger because of the way that she acts when she doesn't have it or when she's, drinking with it. She's actually kind of describing how someone would act if they go without Effexor or if they're drinking on Effexor. She just probably thinks like it must be something stronger. But Effexor is a pretty and I think Lindsey says she went from like 75 milligrams to 35 maybe. We'll watch that video in a little bit, but she says she's been taking it for 10 years. Lindsey says she's been on this medication for 10 years. So going a few days without it or drinking on it, can definitely affect you in the ways that Mylie is saying. Keep in mind she's a 16-year-old, so she's probably not very educated in like these types of medications. You know what I'm saying? So combining alcohol with your medication can make you more emotionally reactive, lower your inhibition, and increase chances of panic attacks or crying spells, especially early in treatment or after a dose change, which Lindsey says she is tapering. It can raise your blood pressure. Alcohol affects blood pressure too. So the combo can cause spikes and then drops. Let's see. It also says Effexor is notorious for causing withdrawal symptoms, even if you miss just one dose, especially after long-term use, like 10 years. It has a short half-life, so your body notices quickly when it's not there. So you will be irritable. You will have mood swings, feeling emotional, crying easily, headaches, flu-like feeling, anxiety, restlessness, weird dreams or sleep issues, head pressure, upset stomach, dizziness, vertigo, brain zaps. So she's actually kind of explaining the medicine to a T if you drink on it or if you don't take it like you're supposed to.
Next, my absences in school are not for no reason. Last week, I had a UTI that almost made me go septic. All week long, I was so sick that I could not roll over in my bed, and my stepmom, Hayden, took care of me and waited on me hand and foot all week long. As well as I had to stay home from school for about a week due to the fact that we were scared Lindsey was going to come and try to take me from school. I would also like to say that I am 16 years old and have a phone of my own. I could text my mother or call my mother whenever I want to. My parents do not care that I do that, but I choose not to because I do not want to speak to her. Now, I did not quit volleyball. I will be trying out for volleyball next season, but volleyball season is over for the year. At my old school, I was not allowed to play volleyball as per my old principal because he said that he could protect me during school, but that he could not protect me during practice. I now go to a new school and will be trying out for volleyball next year, as well as doing cheer and any other sport that I can due to it being my senior year and me wanting to do as much as I can. Now, she has said that these text messages are out of context, so I'm going to.
These are messages that were leaked or that I think Mylie put out. And I have them in another video that we're going to, but let's read this. This is from Lindsey to Mylie. Your makeup bags are in our bathroom. Come get them immediately. I used your tweezers to pull maggots out of a goat's foot. That's why you don't leave your makeup bags in my bathroom. You never know what's going to happen. Holy, what? Mylie says my tweezers. I don't have tweezers. And she doesn't say what school she goes to. And Lindsey says, for eyelashes, I do believe. And she goes, oh, okay. Look at her response. Like, oh, okay. Like, if I was to even, like, if that was a joke, like, if I told my child something like that, like, hey, well, you left your tweezers in here, so I used them to pull maggots out of the goat's foot. My daughter would be like, you're lying. You're joking. That you didn't do that. Because she would think there's no way in hell that I would do something like that. And then if I'm like, no idea. She would be like, "What the heck, mama?" Like, "Oh my goodness, why? Why would you do that?" Now, if this was like a common occurrence of like me, if I left my stuff in there or this is how they treated me with my things, it would probably be like another blow to the chest. Like, okay, like I'll know they'll do something like this. Why did I not? Why did I not get my crap out of there? Now, it's literally the tweezers that she uses to put her eyelashes on that goes right. She's got to throw those away. She can't use those. You know what I mean? They're done. You know what? This is wild. And I have done a lot of research. Listen, most of you guys that follow me, if you follow me for a long time, you guys know that my mother-in-law worked for CPS for 10 years, and she has a degree in child psychology. And so I'm going to give you guys a rundown of how this affects a child when you tell them, that you use their belongings to do something like this, all because they left them in your room. I have a whole thing I'm gonna go over later, so stick around.
Give you context. First off, this one, I had accidentally left my makeup bag in her bathroom. So she pulled maggots out of a goat's foot using the tweezers out of my makeup bag. This one was right before the first time I ever met Chad. She told me.
Keep in mind, this is a woman who went to prison and did not even raise her child for several years. Her mom did. So, like, if I was in prison and missed several years of my child's life, when I got her back, this would not be the way that I treated her. I don't care if she had a problem of forgetting to put her things up. That would be something I would work with her on. You know what I'm saying? I would be like, I missed out so much on my child's life. Like, she has trauma from that. So I'm not what? Like, you are like, I know in a mom's mind, no matter what our kids go through, we always think like, I'm the mom, I'm the mom. But in a child's mind, if they were raised by their another relative, a grandmother, they don't feel the same bond with you that you automatically feel with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, for a mom, they can go to prison and have their child be raised by their mother, and they are always like, "My child, who I love so much," and they love me so much because I'm their mom, and they're my child, and we just have this bond. And you'll get out of prison, treating your child like nothing has ever happened, and that bond is still just a stronger, but that child will not feel that way. So yeah, Lindsay should have did, I don't know, to talk to your child. That's just wow.
That I better impress him.
Oh,
And she.
let me back this up. This is before Lindsay moved in with Chad. This is when Molly's going to be meeting Chad for the first time.
Bathroom. So she pulled maggots out of a goat's foot using the tweezers out of my makeup bag. This one was right before the first time I ever met Chad. She told me that I better impress him, and she had talked to me about the fact that he had a lot of money and that I needed to impress him so that she could be with him. But the only thing she really ever talked to me about him was his money. This is the rest of that conversation. Of her just telling me that I better impress him. I guess I was not good enough. Now, these are text messages between me and Chad, of him saying that we had things to do and him getting mad at me because I forgot to clean the kitchen. And you can see how much we were at Mexican. They were at Mexican, talking about how I needed to hurry up because when I got home, I had to clean the kitchen.
Okay, I do see you guys pointing out that Kelsey, and I'll keep an eye for Kelsey's comments and I'll highlight them so you guys can see what she's saying. But I'm also going to point out why telling a child they must impress your potential boyfriend, how that can affect them psychologically. I will go over all of that at the end, so you guys, you're not going to want to miss this. Now this is this is boyfriend Chad talking to a 16-year-old. No more steaks for you until you learn how to clean the kitchen up. I'm going to kick your ass. My child would have been like, Mama, what? You said that to the wrong person. Did that mean to go to dad? If I text my child like that, my kids would be like, Mama, wrong person. I think that was meant for dad. She said, I'll clean it when I get home. Sorry. He says, if I cook steaks and ask you to clean the kitchen, you better do it. She says, yes, sir. I'm sorry. She doesn't seem like a very rude child, or she's like, yes, sir. I'm sorry. She's not like, oh my God, get a grip. Like, I'll clean it when I get home. She's literally like, sorry. I'm sorry. He says, we at Mexican, hurry up. Y'all know I don't really cuss, but I'm going to read this. We at Mexican, hurry up. My fuck ass kitchen needs clean. She says, I'm coming. Clean it your fucking self. You know what I'm saying? This is a 16-year-old child you're talking to. I did hear that. I heard that he had been arrested for like manslaughter when he was younger. I did hear that. I did not look into it, but I did hear that. And so I commented on Lindsay's page about that. I was like, dude, what about the messages? Like, that's crazy. And Lindsay's response, and we'll look at her response later, was basically like, oh, we're from the South. He has the biggest Southern draw. Listen, we're from the South. My boyfriend has the biggest Southern draw, and that's just how we talk around here. Who knows my husband? Who knows where we're from? It don't get any Southern than the way Sean Bass sounds, babe. Okay? Like, we are from the South. I literally read that response to my husband that she said he's like super Southern and I know, sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. Um, we like, we are literally from the South. My husband has the biggest Southern draw out there, probably. And I read that to him that she said, like, oh, this is how you talk. And my husband was like, no, it's not. That is not how you talk to, he said maybe out on the rig, if, your worker's not doing what they're supposed to do, you'll talk to your worker like that. But you don't talk to a 16-year-old girl that way. That is disgusting. And it is, in my personal opinion, it's just not okay. It's just not okay. I don't, and for me, for the fact that Lindsay, who is somebody that I like I literally rooted for Lindsay. I was like so happy to see that she found love again and that she graduated. And I was like, girl, like do your thing. That's awesome. But it's funny because Lindsay can make excuses for her man talking like this, but she's not giving her daughter, Mylie, any grace. Mylie makes mistakes or does something that she shouldn't do, and it's allegedly military workouts, allegedly. But now her fiance can do something like this, and it's all these excuses. And I'm like, why are we giving him grace but not your child? Yeah, my husband is country as it comes. He would never talk to my daughter like that. I'm gonna read you guys what I put later.
Now, this is a screenshot of my mother's TikTok saying that the villain era is deserved on me and that she wants to get revenge on me. I'm not sure if getting revenge on a 16-year-old is very mature, but that is her mindset, so that is what we'll go with. Now I will tell my story. So I got my tonsils out on April 25th of this year. She took me there, and when I went into surgery, she left, and my grandmother, her mom, came and picked me up, and my ex-boyfriend at the time stayed the entire time. When we all got home, they were arguing about who was going to have to stay and take care of me, and my boyfriend, who had been taking care of me the entire time, offered to take me to his house and him and his family take care of me, and that is exactly what we did. So I stayed and lived with my ex-boyfriend for about a month while he took care of me every single day when I got my tonsils out, and I continued to stay there after that for a little bit. He would wake up 3 times a night in the middle of the night and give me my medicine and then go back to sleep, wake up, and go to school the next day, every single day for weeks. During this, she was out living the life with Chad, just doing whatever she wanted to do while I was laid in bed sick.
No, that is the case. That is sad too. Like, to think about it from Mylie's standpoint, being raised by your grandmother, your mom gets out, she's doing better. You live with her, y'all have this bond, and then she gets this new man, and things kind of start falling apart. You have this surgery, and from the way that Mylie is telling the story, she said, I got out of the hospital, and they were all kind of arguing over who's going to take care of me, like almost implying that like Lindsay didn't really want to do it, so her boyfriend volunteered, and she's at her boyfriend's house. He's taking care of her, and mom's out, just living the life while she's trying to recover from a surgery.
So this continued until I got in trouble on May 19th, and they made me move in the house with them, Chad and Lindsay. And Chad continued to yell at me all night long when I had met him twice. Also,
oh heck no! I want to hear what Lindsay has to say about this. Like, why? Like, would a man feel it would be his place to yell at your child when he's met her twice. Lindsey, where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? I'm curious. What are we saying about this, Lindsey? Did he yell at Mylie after Mylie had only met him twice? And if so, what like why?
Summer long, we were made to work on the farm from starting around 7 or 8 o'clock, working until 5, 6, 7 o'clock, maybe possibly later, just depending on however Chad felt that day. And we would do the normal things you do on a farm, but it's very hard work. We did not get a choice in this, and we did not get paid for this at all. Towards the end of the summer, we were allowed to work for money.
Oh, and yeah, I caught that too. Sorry, I was having to text my husband about my son going to work in a minute. It doesn't take that long to recover from. And when I first watched the video, and she said, I stayed with my boyfriend for like a month or something, I was like, whoa, it don't take that long. But she did say like she basically alluded to like I recovered and then I continued staying there for a while. So she did. It wasn't like she tried to say, well, it took me months to recover, so I just stayed there while I was recovering. She does basically say, I continued staying there after I recovered. Something along those lines. Sorry.
At the car lot, cleaning and detailing cars, and I would run errands a lot, but that was the only money we were allowed to make. We were not allowed to have jobs anywhere else. Now,
listen, I do want to say this for you guys that follow me. Y'all know my husband is military, he's a veteran, and he is very like the more of the disciplinary figure than I am. But if our kids are not allowed to work and we're making them work for us, then we're going to pay them probably. A 16-year-old, they want a car or whatever. If we're going to make them work for us at our business, mind you, this man, owns a car lot where she's detailing cars. She said they were paid there, which they would need to be, but on the farm she was not paid. I believe wholeheartedly in kids doing chores. Now I believe there's a limited kids doing chores. They're not your free labor. They should pick up after themselves. They should clean their room. Parents have a lot on them to keep things running in a household. So I'm all for kids having like a dish night, a laundry evening or something like where they fold the laundry, put their laundry up. I'm all for that. I don't think kids are children and they should get to enjoy their life as kids, and it should not be like overcome with chores. They should be able to enjoy being a child. So yes, have them do their chores. Kids should have chores. I believe that chores are very important in kids having those responsibilities instilled upon them, because it makes them as an adult to where they will be able to do those things, and they will not feel like it's somebody else's responsibility. You know what I'm saying? So I'm all for chores. Chores is taking out the trash, not building a fence at 9 p.m. I agree. Or if they are building a fence at 9 p.m., then they can be like, "Hey, I need your help to build a fence. I'm gonna pay you a little bit more on your allowance or something like that."
September, I got in trouble again, and my mom brought me here, and my mom and my parents had a conversation. My parents said that they would allow me to come stay here, and my mother chose to take me back anyways after saying that she did not want me there. If you want to hear the voicemail of them saying that they did not want me there, I can show that in another video. So the next day, my parents called CPS, and CPS came to the house and told me that they wanted to see the bruises on me. I showed them the bruises, and they continued to try to say that those were from volleyball, when volleyball does not leave bruises on your butt or bruises on your knees as much as they were on my knees. I have to make a part 2, so go look for my part 2. So this is the part 2 to my first video. If you haven't seen that, go watch it. So I'm just going to finish my story and give y'all some more receipts of everything. So I left off in the last
Okay, so here's part 2.
video where CPS had came to my house and asked to see the bruises on me. I showed them the bruises. The bruises on my knees were from the military workouts that Chad was making us do. We would do
Chad's military, former military. He's a vet. He's a veteran. Why is a 16-year-old girl doing military? She ain't in boot camp. She's in her house where she lives with her mom. She's not your child either. You're not even married to this woman's to her yet. You're not even stepdaddy yet. You have her working at your car dealership, detailing cars, paying her. Okay, good. You have her putting up fence posts, cleaning your effing kitchen, yelling at her the second time meeting her. And now, no, there is a way to discipline a child when they get in trouble, and military activities or exercises is not it. And two, like, I'm going to go over how it affects a child. Like, the way that Mylie was raised to live with her grandmother, then to live with her mom, and her mom missed a big portion of her life. And then for this man to come in and just like try to take over and be like the dad, but be this like strict, mean dad, and like to be yelling at her and to be making her. No, that was not his place at all. That was not his place at all. And Kelsey says, and mind you, they have only known him for like 6 months. That is not his place. That is not his place. I don't care what anybody says. And there's people defending this. Like, well, she didn't mind living in his house and living the life of luxury, and she didn't mind eating them steaks that he cooked. Well, what the hell was she supposed to do? She's 16. Was she supposed to be like, Mom, I don't want to live with you and your boyfriend because he might make me to do military workouts? Because he might make me put a what? Of course she's not going to mind living with her mom. Guess what? Mylie didn't mind living with her mom in the house that they lived in before this. That wasn't this, like, if you follow them on social media, if you follow Lindsey on social media, the house that she lived in before was not, it was not this, like, extremely nice house. It was a very, like, and she lived there, and she had no problems living there. So because maybe she enjoyed moving into this nice house, that gives Chad the right to do those things to her? What? I'm honestly like flabbergasted that there's adults on the internet defending this. But you know why? It's because in society, we have those parents that think that these things are okay, not understanding the trauma they are inflicting upon their own children. That's why we have so many kids in therapy. That's why we have so many kids on antidepressants, because they have parents who think this type of crap is okay. This is just my personal opinion, okay? Let's continue.
normal things like lunges and duck walks, but when we did our lunges, our knees had to hit the gravel, and we had to say this saying while we said our duck walks. When CPS saw all of this, they took pictures, and then I said I wanted to leave, and they took me to my dad's house. From then, they looked at the house and left me there, and we had a safety plan that said that I would stay at my dad's on the weekends and stay at Brad's house during the weeks. And at the time, they left me at my dad's. So from then, I think 2 days had passed, and Gammy had decided to go and get my phone fixed to where I could use my phone, because my mom had locks on my phone where I could not get onto any of my apps, and we thought that she had spyware on my phone, which, if you don't know what spyware is, basically they can see and hear anything you do on your phone. So we took it to AT&T and we got everything off, and from there it was like domino effect. Lindsey decided that she wanted to cancel the safety plan and try to come and get me, and CPS called, and my parents did not let me go. Lindsey and her friend sat in the road beside our mailbox for about an hour and a half, saying that deputies were going to come get me, and that if I did not come with them willingly, they were going to send me to JDC, which is juvie. So I had to move because I had to charge my phone. So I was not going outside unless the cops said that I had to come with them. No police ever showed up, and CPS was calling us multiple times in a row. So from then, CPS decided they did not want to talk to my family anymore because my family was so upset with her. The woman had said things about me, saying that I was a liar and a manipulator, and things that a CPS person just does not say to a family. We truly, truly believe that Lindsey paid off this CPS worker. And so from then, Lindsey and me and the CPS worker had a three-way call to where I tried to get my point across and they would not let me speak. Every time I...
Let me just say this. Listen, I know there are kids that will pit their parents against each other, that because they don't like the rules at mom's house, they will go off and they'll say all kind of crazy stuff. They'll be manipulative and they'll say, mom and stepdad's doing X, Y, and Z to me. And listen, I've gone through stuff kind of similar, with that, like with one of my kids not wanting to live with me because they didn't like our rules. And mind you, we've never had like very strict rules. Never. Okay. But one of my kids just with dad had no rules. So thought, oh, well, dad don't maybe listen at anything. Like, so let me go to my dad and say, "Oh, they're mean. I don't want to live with them." Blah, blah. So I know how this can work. I know that kids are very capable of that. But Lindsey is coming with receipts too, like the messages. There's like if there wasn't messages involved and like the like stuff that kind of backs her story, I might would always be like, like let's kind of wait to see what happens here. Like this is just my personal opinion though. Like she is showing that her mom has allowed, first off, your mom using your tweezers to get maggots out of a goat's foot because you accidentally left them in her bathroom, then allowing a man to yell at you, and then the way that he spoke to you, that to me immediately makes me think, okay, she is telling the truth. And it's not a matter of her just not liking the rules at mom's house. And we're not even going to talk about how many times like CPS fails people. And most of the time it's not CPS, it is the oh, I meant Mylie is coming with receipts. My bad. You guys, something keeps popping up on my computer and I don't know how to get it off, and it literally interferes with everything that I'm doing. Hold on. Okay, I got it. Mylie is coming with receipts. So I've seen that this happen where kids do this. They play parents against each other. So I know that's possible and I know it happens. But Molly's coming with these receipts, like the messages from Chad is like, and then things that Lindsey herself basically admits to. I'm like, wait, you didn't have a problem when it was going on at your house, but now that she's not with you and they may be allowing her to do these things, now all of a sudden you got an issue with it. You know what I'm saying?
I tried to speak, they decided to yell over me or something else, and I eventually got fed up. I was trying to get my point across and they would not let me, and eventually I yelled the words, and I quote, "If you make me go back there, I will jump off a bridge and kill myself," and end quote. To which Lindsey replied, "Okay, I think it's time we take the next steps," and hung up.
So you really got to ask yourself though, okay, they live in a nice house. Like her would-be stepdad owns a car dealership where she could possibly, like she might be like, hey, I want that car. Who knows? Her boyfriend, she would have more access to her boyfriend there. They go on trips. Like if none of the things that she was saying true and everything was like fine, other than like just them chores, like cleaning the kitchen and doing it. If it wasn't what she was saying, you would think, well, life wouldn't be bad enough for her to want to not live there, considering the pros that would go along with living there, like the boyfriend, like the nice house, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so to me, I'm like, it gotta be true, because why else would she not want to live there unless just the rules? Like, to me, it seems like there's something more there,
So from then, I just sat there waiting for somebody to come pick me up and take me to a mental hospital because I knew that was where I was going. We talked to the deputy of our county who said they were not sending out anyone to come get me that night. Then eventually a welfare person showed up to come talk to me because they had called and said that I was going to try to end my life. Which those were not my words. My words were I was going to end my life if they tried to send me back there. So my family sent them off because there was random people in our yard and it was 9:30 at night and we had no idea who they were or what they were there for. The CPS lady then called Hayden saying that if she did not let me talk to them and I ended up harming myself, that it was going to be her fault. They ended up sending a CIT officer and a welfare person to come check on me, and they did not find me a harm to myself, and they left me here. From then, we thought it was over, and the next day, we were going to a lawyer's office to get emergency custody. The next day, Lindsey saw that my phone location was at a lawyer's office and decided to call and say that she was going to sign her rights over and that she wanted Hayden to adopt me. All we had to do was show up and sign the papers. We knew that this was a lie and we did not show up. And it did end up, in fact, being a lie. We talked to the lawyer that she said she was at. That lawyer will not represent her anymore. So from then we got emergency custody and I stayed here for about a month before anything else happened. Now Lindsey had gone online and got on a live and started saying things about me that were not true, which really, really made some people around us angry. From then,
I think that's how this started. Am I correct in saying that? I think the way this started is Lindsey like mentioned it on a live that Mylie was living with her dad. Like, is that how it started? Because I did go back to on Mylie's like TikTok page and like she hadn't said anything about it until she like addressed it.
screenshots were sent to a blogger online who told our story, and Lindsey got really upset that my story was out there. Which everything that's going on right now is really crazy to me because I know that Lindsey's trying to save face, but her lying about me and my family is not doing anything for her. This is not me trying to out her in any way. This is me sticking up for myself and my family. Now I will show you a voicemail that Chad sent to my dad the day I got in trouble and said I wanted to go live with him.
Hey, Jamie, it's Chad Booker. I was going to give you a phone call and tell you, Mylie's wanting to come live with you, and I've been raising your kid for the last 3 or 4 months, and she's a good kid. If you want to take her, just call me back, and I'll meet you, and she can come stay at your house, or she can live by my rules, one of the two. But I ain't got nothing against you or nothing, but just from one daddy to the next, I just wanted you to know she wanted to come live with you, and we're ready to bring her to you. Just let me know one way or another. My number's 6.
I won't disclose his phone number just because that is personal and very private. But they did say that they did not want me anymore and that I could live here, but now they're taking that back. Now, he did just say that I was a good kid, but that I wasn't living by the rules. But the rules were that I was having to detail cars until 8 or 9 o'clock at night and go put up fence posts at dark. Yes, I got in trouble.
And maybe be talked to like you are a slave in the house and not a child in the house to go clean the effing kitchen. Like, I don't know.
But things should not take the turn that they took. CPS did take a picture of the bruises on me, on my knees and my butt. Of course, I cannot show you the picture of the bruises on my butt, but I will show you a picture of the bruises on my knees. This is what my knees looked like.
I guess it's kind of hard to tell in the picture. I mean, you can kind of, and the way that it's pictured where the typing is over it, but you can see she's got some red marks in the middle of her kneecaps. Her mom says that's from playing volleyball, but I saw some pictures of her from playing volleyball, and she always wore these knee pads. She always like the pictures that I come across, she had like knee pads on, I think. And she's I think she's alleging that the way that she got these marks on her knees was from doing a military style workouts, like the lunges where your knees had to touch the asphalt. So when you do lunges, your knee has to touch the ground, essentially, is the way that Chad made them do these military workouts. So that would make sense. That would make more sense versus her playing volleyball, to where when the pictures that I found of her playing volleyball, she had the knee pads, like on her. She had something on her knees. I've never played volleyball, so I don't know. But my daughter did dance line, and I remember when my daughter like learned the first dance, coming home pretty beat up or whatever, but we went and got her some knee pads after that, and then she was fine. But yeah, the pictures that I've had, so yeah, it seems to make more sense that she got those from the lunges. Also, in my opinion, also she had there is a police report that we're going to look at in a little bit, where the police notates that she had bruises on her knees and her back. And I don't know if it says her butt too, or he may just said like backside or something. Anyways, now we're going to go over another video, like some of Lindsey's responses and things like that. So let me get that pulled up really quickly. So just bear with me. Okay, so here's the incident report from when Molly's dad and stepmom contacted the police, CPS or whatever, and they showed up. It says the incident number, and it's made by Shadburn on September 20th, 2025 at approximately 15:38. Deputy Shadburn responded to the sheriff's department parking lot to speak with a complainant in reference to child abuse. Upon my arrival, I made contact with Hayden Robinson, who stated that her stepdaughter was being abused by her biological mother and her mother's boyfriend. Robinson advised that the mother was Lindsey Downs and the boyfriend was Chad Booker. Robinson stated that her stepdaughter, Mylie Robinson, was supposed to come stay with them this weekend, but Lindsey had refused to let her come. Robinson said that Mylie had told him that she and her stepbrother, Bo Booker, had been getting punished and made to do 150 hours of military-style workouts. Robinson stated that she was also told by Mylie's volleyball coach about bruising on her, which I feel that's interesting as well. If the volleyball coach is talking to the stepmom and saying, dude, like, what's up with, why does she have bruises, on her knees or whatever? I then contacted CPS, and Adrema came to our location. While speaking to Robinson, Danielle Booker and Bo Booker, so Danielle is Chad's ex-wife, and Bo is Danielle and Chad's son, arrived on the scene. Danielle stated that on Friday, September 19, 2025, Chad hit Bo in the mouth with the back of his hand. I did observe some dried blood on Bo's bottom lip. I spoke to Bo, and he stated that Chad came to his school and checked him out early because Chad had heard that Bo had been vaping. Bo stated that he got into the truck with Chad, and Chad then backhanded him in the mouth. And let me just say, like, unfortunately, vaping is it's all the hype. Think of you when you were in school. Did you not smoke cigarettes? Like, most of us was like going to our friend's house, like smoking cigarettes. Like, that's kind of equivalent to vaping. Like, a lot of kids are going to do it. Do we want them to do it? No. Should we discipline them for doing it? Absolutely. We should take your phone for a week. Hey, if you want to vape, guess what? You're not going to have your phone. Let me find out you're vaping again. You're not going anywhere for a week. You're not going to have your phone for a week. That's how you discipline a child who is doing something they're not supposed to do. You don't backhand them. Vaping, unfortunately, it's been sneaking cigarettes. Back in the days what we were doing. Vaping is an epidemic right now within the schools. Absolutely. You literally have kids like selling vapes at school. It's wild. You know what I'm saying? So for him to backhand him because he vaped is that's wild. All right, guys, I lost the video. Hold on. Where'd it go? It's not it. I think I moved it too far down. Bear with me. All right. It then says, Bo stated that Chad then took him to Steve Gladwell's house and dropped him off. Bo also stated that he and Mylie were punished and made to do work on a barn and do 150 hours of military-style workouts. That's very interesting that they both was like 150 hours. So that must have been something that I guess Chad said, like, y'all going to do 150 hours of workout. You're going to do 150 hours of workout. The fact that they both knew, like, how much it was. Usually if you're, like, punished and you're doing work for, like, days on end, You might be like, "Oh, we did it for this many days." The fact that they said 150 hours, maybe that must have been something a little bit like Chad, like, "Oh, you're gonna do 150 hours of work. That's what you're gonna do to work off you getting in trouble." CPS arrived on the scene and conducted their investigation um, with the parties on the scene. Then Deputy Counts, Sergeant Latch, and CPS and myself went to Chad Booker's residence to do a welfare check on Mylie. Once on the scene, I advised Lindsey and Chad while we were there. CPS began talking to the parties, came outside, and advised us that Mylie did have bruising on her back and lower body. CPS did place a safety plan into place for Mylie. So she had bruises. This is the incident report, okay? This is what the officer that went out to the house said, that Mylie had bruising on her back and her lower body. So, and we know she had some on the knees too. So if that was due to volleyball, like I didn't play volleyball, so I don't know if that's a common occurrence that you get, you know, um, bruises on your back. I don't know. All right, now I think that's the only thing that I need not to share. All right, so then Lindsey posted this shout out to, according to Amber, that's where I got this from. It says, for everyone who's been asking or hearing bits and pieces, no, my daughter was not removed from my home. But CPS did do an investigation, and we participated in a voluntary safety plan with CPS that CPS ended 2 days later. Sorry. But CPS did do an investigation, and we participated in a voluntary safety plan that CPS ended 2 days later. The situation was closed with no findings against me. But my daughter is not living with me right now by her choice during pending custody hearings. She moved out because she doesn't agree with my rules. It sounds more like it's Chad's rules. I mean, these were not the rules that she had when she lived with you and Blaine or whatever his name was, or after Blaine moved out. This seems to be new rules because Mylie didn't seem to have any issues living when it was you and Blaine, or when Blaine moved out and it was just you and her. So to me, I feel like this is more Chad's rules. And Chad's rules, in my opinion, seem to be a little much. She's 16, she's acting out, and while it's frustrating, it is also very typical teenage behavior. I agree there. It is very, yeah, kids acting out is very typical. What I hate is that instead of allowing the courts to handle this privately and appropriately, her stepmother, I don't know what it said after that because it's cut off, but it says we are currently in an active custody case. No, that would not be possible if CPS had removed her from my home. So I won't go into details here. But if you know me or have followed my story, you know I've always and will always prioritize my daughter's safety, well being, and future. But a man said he's gonna kick your daughter's butt, but, if she don't come in and clean the kitchen, how is that prioritizing her well-being? Because that's mentally a game for him to talk to her like that. Thank you to those who saw through the attention grabs and false claims, and to everyone who has supported us and prayed for us. It means more than you know. And I will say, like, somebody that okay, if the volleyball coach was the one to bring up the bruises, it's highly doubtful they came from volleyball. Good point. CPS did not end it. Lindsey retracted her signature and tried to have Mylie put in another home, but since her father has joint custody, they could not take her out of their home at that point. Even though she didn't show up to court and waited to the last minute to get a lawyer. Really? All right, let's see. Somebody asked, why did the daughter have bruises though? Because she plays volleyball, is Lindsey's response. And somebody says, that makes sense. I never wanted this to become public, but at this point, I really feel I've been backed into a corner. Let me make this a little bit bigger. This past week has been nonstop false claims and messages out of context. What other context is I used your tweezers to dig maggots out of a goat's foot? That's what you get. Like, what? This isn't like, hey, sorry, I used your tweezers to get maggots out of a goat's foot because I actually didn't know they were yours. I assumed they were mine because they were on my bathroom counter. So I used them, and then it was only after I used them that I saw mine and put them on the counter. So I realized they must be yours. So I do apologize. My bad. I'll buy you some more. No, like, out of context, like, what? There's no other way. Like, It doesn't matter what the context is. You literally said, like, that's what you get for leaving your stuff in my bathroom. You are her mother. I literally, like, most of my stuff was in my mom's bathroom because the second my mama came home from work, me and all my sisters were going in there to chill with her and sit with her while she, like, you know, took her bra off and, like, peed. And, like, we're like, how was work? Like, half of our stuff was in our mom's bathroom. I hate that it's come to this. I never wanted my daughter struggles on the internet. I'm used to it, but I've always tried to give her a level of privacy for my notoriety, which is why I stayed quiet for months, trying to protect her and let the legal process work. But when people continuously spread lies, manipulate the narrative, and post about my minor child for their own attention grab, there comes a point where I will say no more. So this is where we actually are now in a court process. I still have all my parental rights. I will always fight for what I believe is best for my daughter, whether she likes it or not. And I will let the truth come to light. I will let the truth come through verifiable information rather than slander. I appreciate everyone who has supported me in chat and seen through the noise caused by his ex wife, my child's father, and her stepmother. Whew. It said that her stepmother took it to social media, but in fact, Lindsey did. They are in an active custody case because the father and stepmother filed for emergency custody and was granted because Lindsey did not show up. She also was dodging being served. One day she was suddenly taking a flight to Texas, but the very next day she's on a porch at a farm replying to hate messages on TikTok. She refused to meet with the constable to be served the court papers. She literally got charged by the constable for avoiding him, even though she spoke with him on the phone first. Okay. Thank you. But wasn't you enabling her, buying her alcohol, buying her condoms? The list goes on. So, that's one thing that, like, Lindsey has, like, oh, there's pictures of her vaping. There's pictures of her laid up in bed with her boyfriend. eh, You know, um, so this person's like, but wasn't you enabling her? You were buying her alcohol, buying her condoms. The list goes on. And she says, I let my kid try a drink she saw on TikTok. Obviously, I shouldn't have, and I'll take that. But my kid is allergic to latex. She can't sneak around and get condoms because they don't typically stock them. I don't want my teenager to have sex, but I'm sure as hell don't want her getting a disease because I wouldn't get her what she needed to practice safe sex. Listen, as a mom, I'm a mom of 6 kids. I have a 21-year-old, soon to be 21-year-old. I have an 18-year-old boy. That's a hard line to walk. Like, do I take them to get put on birth control because I don't want them to have sex, but I also know they may more than likely do it, and I don't want them to get a disease or I don't want them to get pregnant. So it is a very, like, it's almost like you don't know what to do, and I do kind of leave that up to each parent to figure out, how they want to approach that. So I'm not like, I don't know. I couldn't, like, I could see taking my child to get her on birth control, but buying her condoms, I would be like, listen, I don't want you doing it. You're on birth control. I might would talk to them about condoms, like, your boyfriend, is his parents talking to him about protection too? Because, like, I don't want y'all doing it. Y'all don't need to be doing it. Um, I don't know, like, that'd be a weird. I could see more like my husband buying our son condoms and being like, "Listen, don't do it, but if you're going to." But back in the day, whenever I was younger, and me and my older 2 kids' dad, they sold them at the store. You could literally go in the gas station, in the bathroom, put a quarter in, and get a condom. Now, maybe they were latex, probably, I don't know. So I guess there's like this thing. She's allergic to latex. Okay. Um, and she said she let her try out one drink. But considering you were an addict, your dad was an addict, addiction runs in her family. That would be something. And listen, same with my kids, my older 2 kids. Addiction runs on my side, addiction runs on their dad's side. I have never allowed my kids to drink, smoke, vape, any of those things. And I have talked to them endlessly about, listen, don't drink, don't try weed, like, don't do, because, like, alcoholics run in our family. It runs on their dad's side, my side. Uh, Addiction runs. So I've always just been like, listen, I know I can't stop you from doing things, but here's why I don't want you to. Here's how, like, it runs in our family, how it's affected these people. And because it runs in our family, you are more prone to have issues if you do it. So I've educated my children So considering Lindsey is a recovering addict, you would think she would be just so completely against like her daughter doing anything like that, let alone letting her do it in her presence, you know? She did not only buy Mylie one drink, she bought alcohol by the bulk for her and her friends. Wow. That's why open communication and trust is so important. Exactly. She said on her live last night, she was just giving her sips and letting her try her own drinks, but that's not true at all. So yeah, she admits to letting her try one drink and she bought the condoms because her daughter's allergic to latex. And but you know what? Hey, you know what? Listen, that could have been a smart move though. Hey, don't have sex, don't have sex, don't have sex. Guess what? If Mylie would have come to you and would have been like, Mom, I need to go to the doctor, something's wrong. Oh, you're having sex and you use the latex condom, clearly, huh? So now you know. You know what I'm saying? But to me, we're gonna look at the messages where Mylie literally tells her mother, and this is so weird, but it's on the internet and it's a part of this, it's a part of what is going on, and it tells the type of relationship that Lindsey had with Mylie and the things that she allowed. Then now all of a sudden she has a problem with the dad. Mylie literally messaged her mom and said, "Mom, the condoms that you got, we need a bigger size. They're too little." If my 21-year-old messaged me something about like needing to get bigger condoms because her boy, I would be like, "I'm your mother. No." If my child would have been 16 years old messaging me like, "Hey mom, I need a favor. Like I went and tried to get some condoms, but I got the wrong size. Is there any way you could go and bring them to me?" I would be like, "Excuse me?" I don't even know. Like that's just mind blowing to me. Mind blowing. But mind blowing. Yeah, I don't know. All right, they played an audio of you saying that you wanted to sign your rights over, and we will listen to that. There is an audio of Lindsey saying that she wanted to sign her rights over. She says, "I would have told them I would pay 10K if I would have thought it was going to get them to answer the phone. Then why didn't you? You claim that they wanted money. You claim that they're in this for the money, or that's part of the story that you feel that they are more about the money. That 3 days after they got Mylie, they filed for child support. So why do you say that? Why do you say, hey, listen, I will give you guys 10K if you give me my daughter back. We can go, we can have y'all can have her every other weekend. I just want her living back with me and us to be able to go back to having a relationship. But you guys can have her every other weekend. I'll give you 10K. Drop this." I would have said that instead. Deborah said, exactly. I get it. People just need to say other things they know nothing about. I just wanted to give you the heads up that they're playing it on TikTok. It's everywhere. They want attention by any means necessary. All right. So here's the other part of the messages that we already saw, but it says, "When you get done shitting, we got shot to do." What a way to talk to your 16-year-old daughter. Maybe, "Hey, darling, when you are done in the bathroom, we got some stuff we need to handle. When you get done shitting, okay." She just said, "Ha ha." He was clearly a very vulgar type person. "No more steaks for you until you learn how to clean the kitchen up. I'm going to kick your blank. I'll clean it when I get home. Sorry." She didn't ha ha that one. "If I cook steaks and ask you to clean that kitchen, you better do it." "Yes, sir. I'm sorry. We at Mexican. Hurry up. My F ass kitchen needs cleaned. I'm coming." I just don't understand why you let your new man talk to her in those texts. I can't get past that. Chad jokes around. He quotes movies and country singers. He says, "I'll pull a Billy Joe shaver on you and kick your ass all the time." To everyone. It's just him joking. The week before that text, Mylie got in trouble for texting Bo she's tired of cleaning the FS kitchen. For the next month, we referred to the kitchen as the FS kitchen as a joke. Taken out of context, lots of things seem awful. They claimed I was gambling while my kid was hungry. They left off the fact that we were in Louisiana at the beach. There's a beach in Louisiana? Maybe Holly Beach. And staying at a hotel that costs $800. Whoa, there's a hotel in Louisiana that costs $800 a night? I live in Louisiana and I'm what? And had a water park for Mylie and her friends to play where they also had an open tab at the restaurant. She spent an absolute obscene amount of money that weekend, but taken out of context, it looks awful, doesn't it? All right, she's lying. She's the one in it for the money. They've already had joint custody in place, and the father's been paying her child support for years. When Chad would text her joking, you could definitely see. That's the thing is like, why wasn't she like, ha ha, LOL? If somebody texts me something like that, she's like, I'm sorry though. She's like, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm in Louisiana. I didn't know we have a beach either, right? I'm like, where's the beach? And where is this $800 hotel on the beach? I don't know. I need to find the beach too. The reason she said that is because she didn't want to pay child support, so she would rather sign her rights away. Now she's having to cover her tracks since everything is out in the open. Lindsey found her a sugar daddy. She's going to let all this fly, lose her daughter. Then Chad will get tired of her. Then what? Yeah. All right. Kind of funny when the truth comes out. Those crazies with their fake news been wearing me out since Saturday. That's Chad. He said that. And then somebody said, I don't remember what this one is. I know, where's the beach? Jessica said to Chad, do you know this thing? I don't know what that message is. And Chad said, that's why I tagged you. Fake news. I never threatened to whip Mylie. I am no idiot. That's not my child. I never threatened to whip Mylie. I'm no idiot. She's not my child. What does I'm going to kick your ass mean? Okay. Um, I don't know what they call it where you're from, but where I'm from, if somebody threatens to kick your ass, I mean, yeah, maybe it's not a whipping. You're threatening to kick her ass. All right. Reality Tea with Day is who I think. Yeah, that's the only one that I can think of is Holly Beach, maybe. Reality Tea with the Day is I think the person that Lindsey has filed a lawsuit against, I believe. But it says, so here's the full story of what led to Mylie being removed from Lindsey's care. Don't shoot the reposter, but also don't be surprised when you view the full video, and shame on WeTV for letting this woman treat her child that way and continue to film and pay her. And Bo is safe with his mother. So Bo is no longer living with Chad, I guess. All right, so here's messages. Okay, because Mylie's phone had gotten taken because she had gotten in trouble. It says, this is Mylie. I don't know how long I will be grounded for, probably a minimum of 2 weeks, but I literally cannot do it. Like, I'm actually not sure I will make it. And the person said, I called your daddy and told him what was going on. He's wanting to talk to you or text you somehow. Are you okay? I'm sorry. I missed you Sunday. I missed you too. I have to give Blank her phone back, but before or after practice, I will text you. I just really need help. Okay. Sent pictures of the knees. It says, hey, so Mylie asked me to send you this. This was caused yesterday. Bo got in a wreck and they both ended up having punishment. Mylie said that they had to sprint, lunges, ab workout, and plenty more. She also said they had no break and couldn't get water or anything. Today, she can barely walk. She came up to me before practice and showed me this and started crying. After practice, she asked if papers could be drafted ASAP. This is one of the many things that has happened in the house, according to Mylie. Sorry, I cut that off. My bad. She tried to get the father to pay $48K and back child support. The court denied it because there was no such proof. There was so much proof of her father actually taking care of Mylie, and no back child support was granted. Okay, Kelsey. Thank you. Please do that and let me know ASAP. Jamie's number is blank, and if you or her text him from your phone, he will respond. Her daddy is off work every day around 6, and he can leave anytime she needs, and he can come to y'all and meet y'all anytime, anywhere she needs. Thank you for being her friend and being there for her because I know she needs you. I will for sure, and I can talk to my mom later tonight about it. I will also let Mylie text him from my phone for sure. And you're welcome. Thank you for doing your best to fight for her as well. So this is a friend of Mylie's that is letting Mylie use her phone when they are at school, I guess. Thank you so much. And please make sure it's okay with your mama that we text. I don't want to upset her just because I'm an adult, but I promise your name and number will never leave me and Jamie. I would never do that to you guys. Hey, this is blank. I'm Miley's blank. She is grounded right now, but she wants Jamie to fight for custody and take Lindsey to court. She doesn't feel safe with them. I can see it from the outside looking in as well. She doesn't enjoy going home. She always talks about how she wants to move in with her dad. She asked me to tell you that she wants Jamie to have custody, but everything else is me speaking from perspective and things that she has told me. I want what is best for her. And even though I don't know you, I just ask that you talk to Jamie about Mylie. Okay, those are messages from Mylie to Jamie, from Mylie to Hayden. She had to use a friend's phone because she got in trouble every time Mylie asked to go see or talk to her dad. And Hayden. Okay, that's true. Yeah. Is there a reason Miley's Christmas gift phone is cut off and possibly reported stolen? Those lines have been transferred to Lindsay's line, so I couldn't tell you, but I think there's at least $1,000 owed on it. I'm not sure really where I'm not sure. She showed up at my house the day before this and said, I don't want Molly anymore. And she's begging to live with her daddy. So here she is. And she can't bring anything. So this is according Lindsay showed up at the dad's house and was like, Molly wants to live with you. You can have her, but she can't take nothing that I got her. Okay. She says she can't bring anything with her. No car, no shoes, no clothes, not even a toothbrush. You will provide everything if you say yes. I say yes. Let's go to Jamie's work and tell him what's going on. He needs to be included and involved. That is crazy though. Like if my child was just being like a big turd because they didn't want to listen to rules, I'm not would be like, listen, you ain't bringing your TV. You ain't bringing like everything in that bedroom, but like pack you a bag. Um, the car would be, I don't even know, like if I'm paying a note on the car and the insurance, it'd be like, okay, y'all got to take over like the car note, the insurance. I don't know. No shoes? Like what? Damn. She went barefooted? So Molly rides with me and she starts telling me about the abuse and what happened that day. We get to Jamie's work and we go in the office and sit down and she tells Molly to go wait out while the adults talk. About 30 to 45 minutes later, after we talk and listen to her bullshit and tell her she can stay, Lindsay tells Molly to come in and immediately says, we've decided you'll stay living with me and that you can see them on the weekend. Let's go. Molly refused and started saying stuff that Lindsay has done to her. And she was like, I begged to see my dad and Hayden, and you hit me in the face. And Lindsay goes, all I have a choice but to do is violence. And then it forces Molly to leave. Listen, we can all question whether or not this is true, if those words were really said, or if any of this is true. It's my personal belief that it is. But let's say that's true, and that's what Lindsay said. I don't have a choice but violence. That is not accurate. You don't have a choice but violence? To use violence against what? Right? Okay, say Miley is like some horrible kid that fights you. You're standing there with her daddy. So you know what I'm saying? Like she gonna jump on you in front of the daddy to say I have the only choice I have is to be violent with you. What if your child is that bad that you feel like you have to choose violence to discipline your child? Then there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Therapy, counselors. Like she didn't let Molly take anything, clothes, shoes, makeup, skincare, nothing. They had to buy her everything brand new. Wow. Wow. Meanwhile, she's getting her nails done every season. You know what I'm saying? Halloween nails, Christmas nails. We couldn't get into an altercation at Jamie's work, but we whispered to Molly to hold tight for one night. So the next morning, we go and file that police report and get CPS to come do a welfare check. This is after Molly tells us they've been abusing her and Bo. So I called Danielle, Bo's mom, and Danielle went and got Bo off of the football bus, and his face was all beat up. So I knew immediately, okay, if Bo isn't here to protect Molly, we really have to act fast. Yeah. Molly had already been reaching out for about 2 months on friends' phones during school hours to me, telling me things and telling me when the right time would be to get her out because she didn't want to leave Bo alone there with them either. So she was scared. I guess I think it said she was basically scared to leave and like Bo not be able to leave because she didn't want to leave Bo there. Um, Damn, I cut the top off. With Lindsay's Lindsay's whole thing is she is vaping and sexually active, and Bo is her brother. This is illegal. Okay. Well, the kid has been raising herself for 3 years, and Lindsay has forced her to do some bad stuff. She was forced to get on TikTok and lie in the TV show, or Lindsay beat the hell out of her, and the TV producers did not care. I don't know if this is true. This was being said, okay? Um, but she was buying her alcohol in bulk and condoms from 13 to 15 and a half, and then it wanted to punish her because she was vaping and having sex. That's a hypocrite. You're literally letting her do so much bad stuff because you don't care. Then suddenly you want to be Hitler because she's vaping. That was an excuse to punish her. She was without her phone for months, left with no food for days at a time while they ran off to something in the US. Oh, and this is where they tried to serve Lindsay, and they were unable to serve her. I do remember that. Approximately, I can't read any of that. Defendant state approximately 1,800 hours. No, 10 p.m., 10 a.m. Defendant stated to me on coworker's phone that she was in Memphis at a car sale and would meet me after 2 p.m. Approximately 2 p.m., I checked back with the lot. She was not back yet. Approximately 4:45. Back at the lot, coworker stated she was not there, not back, and must be enjoying the something. I don't know. Approximately 10 a.m., I checked the car lot and spoke with owner Chad Booker. He stated that after the car moved, she took off. Oh, wow, that she took off, that she left, never to be seen of again. So they lied. They lied. Um, Yeah, and somebody was basically saying, like, with the situation that Bo and Mylie were in, both dealing with the same thing, like, how could you expect them not to turn to each other? And then this person said, her actual stepbrother is my son, not this. Um, they are the same age and have been brother and sister since they were 6 years old. That would be weird. If Mylie was dating her stepbrother, who she had lived with since they were 6 years old, that would be weird, but they moved in with each other when they were both teens. And their parents are not married yet. And I don't know if Bo necessarily lived with Chad or can somebody Kelsey, can you tell me if Bo actually resided with Chad or if it was like every other weekend type of thing? Bo is not her brother in any sense of the word, and he isn't right now. He's nothing. He is because they're not even married. When they marry, Bo will become her half sibling. I mean, step sibling. Whoops, not half sibling, step sibling. Um, I mean, you know, is it something to be like, whoa, that's kind of weird? Sure, but is it really? Whatever. There's no blood relation there. Literally just moved in with them before the summer. Okay, thank you. Okay, this was one of the pictures from my understanding that Lindsay was basically saying was inappropriate. You guys can see up at the top that Bo doesn't have a shirt on. He's wearing sweats. And Mylie has like a green shirt with shorts on. From my understanding, that's a picture that Lindsay was like, that's inappropriate. Mind you, they live in the house together. Hey, you know what? Here's the thing. Did Bo move in after him and Mylie started dating, or did he move in and then they started dating? I mean, my kids walk around my boys walk around the house without a shirt on. It's their house. They're gonna be comfortable. Now, if they started dating, would I don't even know. Like, would it be like, okay, you're dating, I can't even fathom this because my husband, we have 4 children together and I have 2 children. So I'm like, if me and him got divorced and I met somebody else and I moved with him and he had a kid the same age as my son's age, a daughter, and they started dating, would it then be like, okay, you need to walk around the house with a shirt on now because y'all like each other? I don't know. Also, Bo is not Chad's bio son. His living arrangements, Kelsey would probably know more. I thought I did hear that Bo is actually not his biological son. He just raised him. And a lot of people was like, he's a great guy because he raised this boy that wasn't his. And even after he divorced his mom, he continued to be a father figure to him. Which yeah, that's great. Like, if Bo looks at Chad like his dad and he's treated him like a son, that's great. But like when did all this like the 150 hours of like did that start? When he got with Lindsey? Did that start when he started dating Mylie? Has he always treated Bo this way, or is this a new development? Has he always treated kids this way? You know what I'm saying? Like, when did this start and why? He had another girlfriend when they moved in. Okay, gotcha. So, yes, she said this picture was inappropriate from my understanding. And somebody said, okay, and here is Danielle. This is Bo's mom. Said, you are sad. Love this picture of two happy kids. And Lindsey said, this is what matters, that they are happy. You damn right they are. They are drinking. They are smoking vapes. They are riding the roads all hours of the night. They are laid up under your roof having sex. So, yeah, they are happy. Now, are they safe? Are they healthy? Are they learning consequences? Are their reputations intact? No. And that is where you fall woefully short as a mother and always have. Your 13-year-old daughter is sleeping with a little boy under your roof. Her naked photos have been circulating around the school by the same little boy. That is something, Lindsey, that you should not have aired about a 13-year-old. Girl, you should have kept that to your whole self. Use it in court if need be, but to bring up what is going on with a 13-year-old, you are their friend. You're the cool mom, and they are happy. Well, congratulations, Danielle. Gold star for you. But the thing about it is Lindsey really can't say this because Lindsey acknowledges that she let her drink too. Also, in a video that we're going to watch later, somebody asked Lindsey, like, oh, was Mylie like having withdrawals from vaping? She was like, no, she didn't have to do withdrawals because they let her vape. Think about that. When Mylie moved in with her dad, did she go through withdrawals from vaping? No, she didn't have to because they let her vape. So that meant you let her vape. So she's admitting that Mylie vaped before she moved in with her dad. So you're admitting that she vaped when she lived under your roof too. And Mylie says that she was allowed to vape. And the picture that was out there is a picture from when she lived with her mom. So I'm like, hold on. If you are attacking Danielle for doing those things, meanwhile, you allow those things, listen, we might not know the truth. We might not ever know the truth if you really bought alcohol in bulk. And we do know that you bought her condoms. So you basically say, oh, I didn't want her having sex, but I also wanted her to be safe. Well, when she said, hey, mom, I need bigger condoms, those are too small. Well, then you knew for sure she was having sex. So it wasn't a matter of if and if she doesn't want her to be safe. It was a matter of you knew she was and you were allowing it. It wasn't like, oh, I know kids are going to do, and I don't want her to, but I guess I'm just going to do it. You knew she was. You were to then go and be like, oh, these are too small. Let me get a bigger size. That is condoning it. So to me, it seems like you are also you are also letting her have sex. This is my opinion. I got so many thoughts on this. Sorry, guys. All right, now here's messages between Mylie and her mom. Can we hurry up and move in with him? I want to go to Wheeler. I guess it's like to maybe a specific school. And she says, you better impress Chad. And she goes, what do you mean? You'll be living in his house and his son, Bo. Impressive. Yes, sir. No, sir. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. Can we hurry up and move in with him? I want to go to Wheeler. You better impress Chad. What do you mean? You'll be living in his house and his son, Bo. Impressive. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Works in the farm, feeds animals in the mornings, calls and asks what I need done, and if I should hang my laundry, and if he should hang my laundry. I already told him you do not have to do all that, so you must find another way to be a new household member. I'd go for extremely polite and sweet. She says, okay, I can cook. Okay, and she's the one trying to damage her child's reputation. That's not at all what's going on. They, in fact, do not let her vape. That's what Mylie was saying too. Like, I did vape, but they took me to the doctor and helped me stop vaping. That's my thing. Is like, how would Lindsey know if they let her vape or not? Yeah, my kids say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir, too. Anyways, she says, I can cook. And then Lindsey says, I've leaned heavily into sweet girl role. He lives on a 200-acre ranch, so he is used to a something. To a farm style family. You should be tentatively excited to try farm living while clearly being more feminine and reserved. What? Who talks to their child like that? Listen, I'm not. You should be tentatively excited to try farm living while clearly being more feminine and reserved. She said, farm living, excuse me? Horses, cows, goats, five bedroom house on 200 acres. Oh, I'm gonna, yeah. All right. Farm living, excuse me. Horses, cows, goats, five-bedroom house on 200 acres. It's a farm or ranch specifically. Please tell me I don't have to feed and take care of those animals. I'm trying to tell you how to play, I guess maybe nice. I don't know. Play the role. Maybe play the role. I don't know. And then this is messages from Mylie to Lindsey. No, you need to try to figure it out. As far as I've heard, you are the one in the wrong here. Personally, I would enjoy having a father figure in my life, and I know you would enjoy having a husband. I'm sorry that he might have hurt your feelings, but you have now put a man in my life and gotten my hopes up. Don't ruin something good over something little. Maybe I don't know the whole story, but from what I've heard, you really need to think about whether that Cody dude is worth losing something that could put us in a really good place. And if you do decide that, then don't introduce me to another person just to get my hopes up. I love you and I'm sorry. Okay, so it sounds like Lindsey was dating a guy named Cody when she started talking to Chad. She tells her about Chad, how, live big on the farm. And Mylie had already gotten her hopes up about a father figure. And maybe she's like, listen, like, you need to figure this out. Like, I don't want to be introduced to another man and get my hopes up to have a father figure. I don't know. I really don't know the backstory to this, but it's definitely like she says, I would have enjoyed having a father figure in my life, and I know you would enjoy having a husband. I'm sorry that he might have hurt your feelings, but you have now put a man in my life and got my hopes up. Don't ruin something good over something little. Maybe I don't know the whole story, but from what I've heard, you need to really think about whether that Cody dude is worth losing something that could put us in a really good place. And if you do decide that, then don't introduce me to another person just to get my hopes up. I love you, and I'm sorry that your feelings are hurt, but I feel like you really need to think about this or think this through. Oh, I feel like you really need to think this through sober because you are not the only one who might be losing something. Sounds like Lindsey was going back and forth between Chad and Cody and Matt. Oh, sorry. Between Chad and Cody. Her and Matt were just friends, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, we'll get to that later. Um, and then she says, I don't need a speech from a 15-year-old. Don't forget church at AM. And she says, don't unalive. I don't know. I want extensive details about what the problem is. Listen, a lot of these messages were just on the page that I was like the pages that I was looking at. So I really don't even know what some of these mean. I want extensive details about what the problem is. She says, I feel lonely. Nobody really speaks to me. The teachers that do speak to me are usually Miss Pardue, who always finds something wrong. Miss Puckett is nice, but I end up sleeping in her class every day because I'm exhausted by everyone else. The people that do speak to me are literally only the basketball girls, and I don't care because they somewhat like me. I literally just hate it here. I feel like I did at Walnut, tired and sad all the time until I get to leave this place and see people I like. At this point, even seeing you makes me happy because at least you're not mean to me for no reason and you'll talk to me. I don't know. I'm just so tired of being here and I want to go home. I would rather clean my room and car every day than have, I guess this was up, maybe she was having issues at the school that she was going to. Um, rather clean my room and car every day than have to be here. She says, what? Ask Cole in your class about his mom wanting some ferns. Okay, you left in the middle of the night, no text, no nothing. That's called being shitty. Don't forget John's supposed to come mow today. Yeah, child definitely don't need to leave in the middle of the night unless you feel that like someone's gonna harm you. Like I have to leave in the middle of the night. Um, but just to leave it, that would scare me. If I woke up and one of my kids were gone, I would be like, oh my God, somebody robbed my kid, robbed me of a kid, somebody kidnapped my kid. Weather will be bad. You need to be home in about an hour or so. Mommy, I'm bleeding through and I don't have anything. Um, I know it's none of Coach Middleton's business in the first place. Candace texts me again. This is like 3 days in a row, Mom. Blank the TV on blank. So we need a bigger size of those condoms because they are way too little. Oops, didn't mean to call. Okay, so here's the conversation where she says, so we need a bigger size of those condoms because they are way too little. Alrighty then. So this was for her to get on to Danielle and be like, you let them have sex under your roof? Like, girl, what were you doing? Maybe you didn't know exactly where they were doing it at, but you knew they were doing it and you were buying her condoms. So, hey, I can't find my travel pants, black shirt, blah, blah, blah. That's not important. It was a good hand down than 100. I've been down 200 at one point. Dang, up 50 now. Good. Hey, we're about to start. Please don't lose money. Send pics, please. You good? I don't know what that's about, but we're about to start. Please don't lose money. That's interesting. You good? Where are you? Hello, Mylie. And there's where she says she used the tweezers to clean the goat's foot.
So in case you
Oh, and here's some of her video responses. And this video is so long. Sorry, guys.
missed it, the narrative has changed. The claim is no longer that CPS removed my daughter from my house. The new narrative is that I paid off CPS. Since apparently it needs to be said because I have so many people letting me know that they absolutely believe Mylie on everything she says, I did not pay off CPS. I don't even have bribery money. CPS investigated the allegations and closed the case based off their findings. They just didn't get their way. So now I get to start another day of my child being exploited so that they can get their child support, which they filed for within 3 days of her being over there. Oh, and if you're wondering about my...
Why didn't you offer them 10K then? If they were excited about a little bit of child support they might get for one kid, why not offer them the 10K? I don't know. Right? Like, why not address how your man talked to her, your kid? Like,
antipsychotic medication that my child claims I mix with alcohol and that makes me crazy when I don't take. This is the only medication I've ever taken in the past 10 years for any sort of mental health issues. It is Effexor. It's called venlafaxine, which is a knockoff of Effexor. I am on 37.5 milligrams, and I am on a taper because we dropped down from 75 milligrams to 37.5 over a 2-month period per my doctor. Light anxiety medication does not be constituted as an antipsychotic. And all of this will...
You could be on something else and we just don't know. It's possible. Also, we already talked about how Effexor can affect you if you go a day without it, considering how long you've been on it, or if you drink while on it. And yeah, she talks about them exploiting her child, but it's like you had her on TV. So, I mean,
come out at court, which we do have coming soon. But if I'm honest, I feel like the online stuff is going to continue just because for them, I feel like public perception matters more than everything else. So I guess there's that.
I'm only addressing since the story keeps changing every time their last life falls apart, which I haven't seen anything like fall apart. Even like with the CPS thing, she says, we think they paid off CPS. The case was closed because the claims weren't found to be true. And no, I'm not on antipsychotics. I'm on the only medication I've been on for 10 years for anxiety. The rumors spreading don't match the facts, and the facts don't change. Also, somebody pointed out that big gun cabinet back there. And I know Chad had been arrested for manslaughter. Lindsey obviously has her arrest history, her arrest record. I got that one, Amber. And I would assume they're felons. I would assume, I don't know. In the state of Mississippi, both federal law and Mississippi law make it illegal for a felon to possess a firearm, have access to a firearm, have control over a firearm. You don't have to touch the gun. If it's in your home and you could access it, that counts as constructive possession, which is enough to charge you. What counts as access? Examples that could get you in trouble: a gun in the closet drawer or safe that you can open, a gun in shared spaces, a gun in the same bedroom, a gun in a locked safe if you know the combination, a gun in the car that you ride in, a gun kept anywhere you could easily get to. Now, some felons do live with a partner who own guns legally, but they must follow strict rules. To avoid constructive possession, the guns must be locked in a safe only the gun owner can open, stored in an area the felon cannot access, not accessible to you in any normal way. Even then, prosecutors can still question it, so it's very risky. Here's some of the comments. I'm sorry you're having to deal with this mess. Did CPS investigate his home as well? They did a walkthrough one time. After that, the father's home refused to speak to CPS and refused family meetings. They have a separate case open on them now that does not involve me. But to address the child support thing, Jamie is still paying child support right now. Mylie has $6K supposedly on her card that Lindsey will not give to Mylie. Okay. Wow. Effexor is an antidepressant, not antipsychotic, but then it doesn't fit their narrative of me being crazy. We are just sending my medical records. We are just sending my medical records to the judge, which the thing is like if you are taking medical records, if you are taking something illegally, you're not going to put it in your medical records. You're not going to write down on there. I'm not saying she is. Don't get it twisted. I'm just saying, like, if she is taking anything, she's not going to be like, oh, here's my medical records. Also, I am blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about anything else other than those messages. Girl, I don't care how badly I wanted a wealthy man. I'm not going to allow him to talk to my daughter like he did. Especially putting hands on her. That's sad. All those hours of military work and it being a godsend if y'all make steak for them, girl. Chad has never put his hands on her or even yelled at her. No, Mylie says that he has, 2 days after meeting him. She asked how she could earn her phone back, so we decided she could work out an hour a day a few times a week and they could get them back. When I first read that, I thought she meant like work, like do chores, work out. Hold it, wait, work out. Like, oh, if my kids want to earn their phone back, okay, fold the clothes, wash the dishes 2 nights in a row. I'm not going to be like, let's go do lunges outside and push-ups. That's kind of weird. I don't know. It's very strange. She could at any point just said, I don't want to work out. Here's my phone. And teasing her about having steak when we eat it damn near 3 nights a week because it's her favorite. The excuse for working out is, well, they're athletes now. Come on, it's stupid. They're athletes. Okay.
You think I'm the
And here's her little lip syncing thing.
Evil parent, not like Dad. I see you guys looking at each other. Oh, Mom's crazy. She's evil, right? That's why you ran away to Daddy. It's not fair. I'm the one who sacrificed everything. You could judge me all you want, but I was there. Where was he when it was just you and me and we had nothing? Oh, he was off in exotic places living his best life, but not me. Not evil Mom, huh? Where are
I don't know, but anytime I have ever with 6 kids and 2 kids that don't belong to my husband, we've obviously had some issues with, the other parents or when my daughter wanted to live with him. And never would I go on and make a video like this. Never would I never would I mock the way that they were feeling, even if I thought that it was wrong. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I wouldn't do it. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Listen, I posted some stuff to my private Facebook page back then, but I was not a celebrity. I did make a post like, where were you? Like, not even like that. Like, I didn't say where were you. I think I talked about needing prayers because life was really difficult, and people wanted to pop up, after not being there. And ask for prayers. I did not do no little lip syncing. I was not a celebrity either. Oh, I wouldn't post stuff like this for the world to get involved. We don't always have to have a response. I was once where you are, but I would not be making TikTok videos about the problems with my daughter. It's not classy. If you've done nothing wrong, let it play out like it's meant to. I agree. Chad's rules, what a joke. Yes, Chad has rules in his house that both kids have to abide by. Not vaping, but according to Mylie, she was vaping when she did live with y'all. Not having sex, yet you're buying her condoms for her, and she's using them because she tells you they're too small. Saying yes, sir, and no, ma'am. Going to school, doing chores, curfew at 10, phones downstairs on school nights. I can agree with all of these, but I don't know if she was really, no vaping, no having sex, saying yes, sir, no, ma'am. Those are good rules to have. But according to Mylie, you let her vape. We know you allowed her to have sex. And she was out putting fence posts up at night and, detailing cars and wasn't allowed to work anywhere else. If she didn't want to work for Chad, she was kind of screwed. All rules, I agree, were appropriate for their age. What about the military workouts? $16-year-old is a hard age when you have strict rules, and her with Chad's son is crazy. Best wishes to you and her, and I hope she realizes what you're trying to do. I feel like her with his son is not really that crazy. I feel like I was blind to not see that it was going to happen. However, it is crazy that these other adults are encouraging it. That went by kind of fast. Sorry. She did, and yet now she's not even allowed to speak to her. I don't know what that's about. Sorry. These are just some of the comments.
For
here's another video.
3 months, and we'll revisit it after 3 months. But from what I've heard so far, it's not going well.
That reminds me of Janelle Evans talking about Jason Barbara.
Because so this week, Mylie has been out of school all week because they said that she's really sick. And Mylie, what they probably don't realize, because they've never been around her, is that Mylie is a little bit sickly. She has to have a really particular diet. She's lactose intolerant. She has to be on healthier foods. If she eats a lot of prepackaged crap, she gets sick. She always has. So that's why if you ever notice, I do a whole lot. No, she's not going through vaping withdrawals because they let her vape. She's posting on social media.
Hey, somebody asked, is she going through withdrawals from not vaping? And she said, no, they let her vape. So why would she be going through withdrawals if she wasn't vaping when she was living with you? Which maybe she was doing it behind your back and that was an issue that you had. But I still don't believe in the punishment that y'all were giving her. There's a way to punish kids, and making them do 150 hours of military style work where their knees are all ate up. That ain't it, sister. That is not it.
But if you notice, I cook a lot, and that is me learning how to feed my child who has a lot of dietary restrictions. Nothing major. It's just that if she doesn't eat the right things, she gets sickly. If she doesn't get the right amount of sleep, she gets sickly. And she's just always been that way. And they just don't know how to. They don't know how to, and they also can't afford to care for her the way I was. I love this shirt. It's cute. I think my hair turned out really well this time. I'm just gonna do this lipstick. She always has been, but now I'm not even on that early because I have to go to work. I'm actually late. I'm going in at 10 today. Thanks, girl. Thank you, Angie. I know. Like I said, that's what my mom keeps telling me. Thank you, Happy, is that I did the exact same thing when I was her age. I went to my dad's for 9 months. It was great. Thank you, Lauren. It was great because I got to do whatever I wanted for a few months. But then I realized pretty quickly that I was quite literally miserable. But I brought my happy butt back pregnant. And she is not going to. No, she quit volleyball. She has quit volleyball. Which is crazy to me because, volleyball has always been like the most important thing to her.
But by her own admission of what she's talking about, okay, if Mylie loved volleyball so much, why would she give it up just to go live with her dad? Unless something was going on there that she really hated. God, she's sniffing. She must have
She quit volleyball. Yeah, I would have too. I would have also hoped that she learned from me. But typically, you see that genetically people. So my dad fell into addiction. My dad, I don't really talk about my dad very much. My dad, he actually, he had a really good job. He was in the union and he had a really good life. And then he got on substances later in life and just ruined his own life too. And it's genetic. It is. I mean, the science proves that.
So why let her drink? Or dude, let me tell y'all, my kids get exhausted about how much I talk about how important it is for them to stay away for a long. For y'all that follow me and really follow me, I talked to y'all the other day about my son who's in college. It's his first year in college, and he is in a fraternity, and they drink in fraternities. And my son is like the kid that doesn't drink, and that in one of the earlier meetings, they was like, everybody grab a bush. And my son started doing landscape work when he was 14 years old. Every summer, even during school at times, he did landscape. So not being a drinker, not my kids could even tell you the name of beer probably, So when the fraternity guy was like, everybody go get them a bush, my son literally was like, I know what some good bushes are. I'm about to go get a real pretty bush. He thought they were talking about planet bushes. He literally because I have been so like gung ho on keeping my kids away from alcohol, away from any knowing like what some of their family members went through and knowing how easy it could be for them to become addicts. I am doing everything. So I would never be like, here's the tip of my alcohol, love. No.
And it'll just be my job to pick up the pieces after it all falls apart. Because that's what moms do. You let them make mistakes, learn from them, and pick the pieces up. Anyway, I'm about to go to work. So if you are not following, hit the follow button. I will be back on. No, I don't think she'll end up pregnant because I put an implant on her in her arm. It'll last till she gets through high school. So unless they take her to the doctor and remove that, she will not get pregnant. I'll learn from that lesson. Anyway, I'm going to hop off here. I love you guys so much. Thanks for hanging out with me this
So,
morning.
you had her put on birth control and you were buying her condoms. So to me, it seems like, of course, as parents, that is a tough, finding that balance of not wanting to like co-sign the behavior, but also knowing that they are children and they may go and do, or teenagers, young adults, knowing that they may do it because we were that age as well. And, that's a hard balance to find. Lindsay egging on a school age girl hating on Mylie is so low. This is actually insane. Colton, do you have a screenshot of that you can email me?
Florien, do you want to get ready with me? And I will see you all soon.
I'm here.
Okay, there it is. Everybody's here. Now then.
Okay, I can't get Jamie or Hayden to respond to me or Brad.
Shout out to According to Amber. I snatched this from you. Sorry. It's just a clip. It's just a small clip.
We can't get anything moved over to them when they're not responding, though. And the CPS keeps calling me, asking to get in touch with them. I can't. I don't know what to tell her.
Well, just like I told Brenda, y'all just calm down and give them time to return phone calls. They're not where they can right now.
So here's the thing. With Mylie still in custody with me on paper and stuff at all these locations, we have to get that swapped over to them because right now I'm liable for Mylie. So, and if they would have answered, they wouldn't have had to waste that $1,500 because I've already said, I'll sign, but I'm signing over rights.
That's between you and them. Y'all just, I don't know.
Well, they won't answer. So unfortunately, you're the only person that's answering.
Well, they can't answer right now. They're in a position where they can't answer their phones right now.
I mean, I've tried to get in touch with them since 8 o'clock this morning.
Do what now?
I've been calling them since 8 o'clock, and Brad's been trying to get in touch with them. And so has.
Why is Brad? What's he calling this for?
Well, because he was part of the original safety plan, and so CPS is calling him.
But he withdrew himself. He withdrew himself.
But he's on the CPS paperwork, and they're trying to get in touch with them.
Well, Lindsay, he withdrew himself, so that shouldn't be anything that DHS should be doing, talking to them. That's not my business. I don't want to get into all of that. Okay, I just want what's best for Mylie, and I'll fight for her to the bitter end if I have to. I just want her stable and doing right and living right.
Right, and she was.
And having a child, having a 16-year-old life. That's all.
I mean, I think that's what she was doing, but I guess
that's the thing. She says she was. Okay, she was. Then why are you acting like she was so bad and wasn't following the rules?
I don't know. I can't say. I don't know. But I'm sure that they will take care of all of this. I do not know everything. And I can't get them to answer my calls either right now. So if you still got custody of her, I would say she's fine. She's with Jamie and Hayden. And that's all I can tell you. But, if it's, I don't know. I don't know what you got to do. Don't know what you want to do. But I
want them to meet me at the attorney's office so that I can sign over rights. Hayden can adopt her. And I want her removed off of all of my stuff so that when she gets in trouble like she's about to with them, it doesn't fall back on me. That's what I need. I need them to allow me to sign over my rights. They don't have to file an emergency custody order. And I told CPS this, and they said that they will transfer the CPS case into them. That's fine. Everybody's fine with it, but they're not going to answer me. They just have to meet there. I've already paid for it. They just have to let me sign.
What lawyer do you want them to go to? What lawyer?
Tyler Moss. I've been trying to get them all day.
Okay.
Literally, they don't have.
Okay, so she was saying that she was not over rights. That's the audio of her saying that. What about the bruising that was reported on her? Wasn't that listed in the reports and documented by her school? Because She says she plays volleyball, CPS verified all of that as well before they close the case. Listen, I'm going to be 100% because, like I said, my stepmom, my mother-in-law worked for CPS for 10 years. And one of the reasons she quit is because there would be like blatant evidence of abuse going on in the household in cases that she worked. And she would, her recommendation would be remove the kids. The parents do not want to cooperate. They have no desire to get clean. And the judge would be like, no, we're not going to take the kids. We're going to leave the kids. We're going to order the parents to go to NAAA. We're going to order them for random drug tests. We're going to order them for this. We're going to order them for that. We're not removing the kids. And the parents wouldn't do it. The parents would not go to their AA classes, the NA classes. They would not, and she would go back to the judge. They're not doing it. They, have failed 2 out of the 2 drug tests. They're not going to their meetings. We need to remove the kids. Not going to remove the kids. We're going to give them another 6 months. So just because I can tell you, like, with certainty that, there are tons of cases that kids should be removed when they're not. I'm not saying that's the case here. I'm just saying she says CPS verified all that as well before they close the case in regards to her bruises. Listen, my mother-in-law, there was a case to where she continuously recommended to have the children removed and the judge would not remove them. And the dad ended up unaliving the kids, his wife, and himself. And she had recommended several times, we need to get the kids out. We need to get the kids out. So just because like CPS closed the case doesn't mean that there's nothing there. You know what I'm saying? Like they are overworked. Their caseload is out of this world. And the little cases that maybe there doesn't really seem like anything there. Maybe it's a question like, oh, could this just be like a 16-year-old that don't want to listen? That but okay, we're gonna close this. We got something more important to move on to. Yeah, I did hear that. Really, I don't know if that was anything worth reading. We're going to go on to the next. I mean, the way that man speaks to her via text isn't okay. I can only imagine what he says in person. Regardless if she's misbehaving, he's verbally abusive, and you as her mother need to make her feel comfortable around that man and not allow him to speak to her like that. And that's coming from someone that's been in a similar situation and still have issues with my mother for letting a man speak to me like a dog because she didn't want to make him mad. You say that you will always choose her, but you didn't. You chose Chad, who you've only known for not even 2 years of your own daughter. And if you love her so much, WTF did you remove all her photos off your social media accounts? That's weird. Now, I didn't double check that, but I did read this comment. And I was like, that is crazy if she removed all the pictures of her daughter off her social media account. While I was on Mylie's account, I did find that Mylie still had videos up of her and her mom. So it doesn't seem that Mylie's deleted everything of her mom off. I don't care about anything else other than those messages. Girl, I don't care. We've already looked at that. Okay, I said, if my man said he was going to kick my kid's ass, he'd be looking down the barrel of something strong enough to blow him away. She's a young girl. What the hell kind of man says that? As far as I'm concerned, those messages alone and the way he talked to her would be reason enough to leave him and never speak to him again. She was even very respectful in her messages, saying, yes, sir, I'm sorry, while being threatened by a grown man. And then somebody said, if the man has been there for her, for 2 years, she enjoys all the good things from the man, then why, when he goes to punish her, is he so wrong? What? Do you know how many households, like, yeah, maybe they put a roof over. Listen, just because you put a roof over somebody's head, that does not give them the authority to talk to you any kind of way or treat you any kind of way. This person is like, that's insanity right there. That is ridiculousness. And that is the type of mentality that causes children to grow up with trauma. She can't want all ye good things from stepdad. I know he's not her stepdad, but he's playing the part and not like when he punishes her. Hell yes, she can. If the punishment is abuse, she absolutely positively 100% she can. You got to take the good with the bad. No, not if the bad is abusive. He could have gone about it a different way, but he didn't. Oh, so you can admit that. You live and you learn. But to shoot someone, come on now, when it comes to my kids, baby, he never put his hands on her. I don't care. Does anybody not understand like emotional abuse, verbal abuse? There's more than just physical abuse. Now, that would be a good reason for pew pew someone, but words will never be a reason to, if it's somebody talking to my kid. And then Lindsay says, he says that all the time to everyone. It's some country saying, and he says it with a long southern drawl. Girl, I'm as country as they come. Call me country bumpkin Elle Bee. Like, and that is not okay. And teasing her, he won't get her steak. It's her favorite food. That didn't sound like he was teasing her. It didn't sound like, it didn't come across in a joking manner. It's her favorite food, which is why we have it so often. I don't even like steak like that, but Mylie did, so he constantly grills steak. I understand you defending his character. That's not my concern. I understand punishing your stepkids, bio and bonus mom, but talking to her like she's everyone is not okay. She's not everybody. She's his future stepkid. You are blending a family, and he should be putting in the work to impress your daughter, just as you told her to do. I would never tell my kids that or threaten to withhold food. I have a kid obsessed with steak too, but I don't use it as a leverage because she hasn't cleaned the kitchen or the kitchen. Something about him. Sorry. Maybe I got the rest. Yeah, there it is. Oh, and what about hitting his son in the mouth? You also only addressed his messages. What about your messages to her? I've watched you and Mylie. I like y'all, not him. Not saying anything is wrong with him. Glad he makes you happy. I'm just confused about your messages and the voice memo. Any words on that? Exactly. She has a defensive response for her man's actions and words. But what about herself? What about defending Mylie and her emotional well-being? What about the text of you apologizing for your drunken behavior and not remembering what happened and how you treated and spoke to her? And heaven forbid we show a child who's had a mom in and out of prison for almost her entire life some grace. Yes, she lived with her grandmother, but it's not the same. She will have lasting trauma from childhood and her mother's choices. I love how Lindsay has turned her life around, but I still see and feel she's choosing men over her daughter. That's just my opinion, and that's not me cutting down Lindsay. She's really turned herself around. I just pray this man is not just one more bad decision she makes that her daughter has to witness and carry trauma from. And this was like on Mylie, Mylie's videos that she put up. Somebody basically said, like, this is your only mama. Like, you need to do what you can to make it right. You'll never have another mama. And she said, you have no idea what I've been put through now and in the past. I'm not fighting with her either. I'm choosing myself and my mental health and doing what is best for me.
Not evil, Mom, huh?
Okay. So really quickly, just a little bit of research on why all of this is wrong. Okay. When Lindsay told her daughter she needed to impress, the wealthy man, act feminine, basically perform for him so Lindsay could secure the relationship and the lifestyle for them. This is emotional parentification. It makes a child responsible for the adult's romantic success, the adult's financial stability, and the adult's happiness. Kids are supposed to be kids. They're not tools to help their parent find a loved one. This creates anxiety. If I don't perform well and mom don't get this man, she's going to be upset with me. This creates low self-worth, feeling like love only exists when I can perform the way they need me to perform. This creates boundary issues, not understanding that adults are responsible for their own lives. No healthy parent puts a child in this role. This is per my research, okay? This is not Elle Bee saying this. This is what I've researched and talked to people that is educated in this field. Okay. Using the child to impress a man is subtle grooming, not in a sexual way, but an emotional grooming sense. Teaching the child to mold herself to please adults, teaching her compliances, teaching her that adults' comfort is more important than her safety, feelings, or autonomy. This makes teens extremely vulnerable to abusive partners, controlling adults, authority figures who exploit compliance. Also, I don't know how long they dated before she moved into this man's house, but moving into a man's home quickly can is creates instability. Obviously, children who have already lived through being removed from their mother at a young age, being raised by grandparents, their parents in and out of jail, moving back in with mom at 12, mom dating someone new at 15. A kid that goes through that, they're already going to have major attachment trauma. Kids like that really need stability, predictability, and emotional safety. Instead, what Mylie got was a new man in the home, a sudden move, a force to be perfect. So he likes you dynamic. This leads to the fear of abandonment, hypervigilance, walking on eggshells, never feeling safe in their own home, and difficulty forming healthy relationships later. Now, the military workout punishments, per my research, this is abuse, darling. 150 hours of forced workouts is not discipline. It is a physical abuse, endangerment, plus injuries like bruises on the back, butt, knees is extremely consistent with excessive physical punishment. Teens punished like this develop trauma responses, fear of authority, shame around their bodies, long-term physical injury, and a belief that harshness equals love. Now, the text from Chad, per my research, equal verbal and psychological abuse. A grown man telling a 16-year-old, get home and clean my kitchen or I'll kick your ass. I'm cooking you steaks. You can clean my effing kitchen. Hurry, the effing kitchen won't clean itself. This is threatening, intimidating, belittling, degrading, and abusive, especially because he's not her father. She don't know him that well. She's only lived there for like what, a year or so, and who knows how long she was living there when he started treating her this way and he started talking to her this way. We don't know how long, she even lived with him before he started treating her this way. This creates learned helplessness, fear-based compliance, trauma bonding. He yells, but then does something nice for me, cooks me steak. Long-term difficulty setting boundaries in adulthood. And the way Lindsey is defending him, this is betrayal trauma. When the mother says, "Oh, that's just how he talks," she is normalizing his abuse, minimizing violence, choosing a man over her daughter, teaching the daughter to tolerate this behavior. This is called betrayal trauma, and it is one of the most damaging forms of trauma because the person who should protect you refuses to. The child learns that they have no protector. The worldview becomes, I am on my own. Adults later struggle with trust, boundaries, and self-worth. The mother's maggot text, psychological harm. Telling your daughter, I used your tweezers on a maggot-infested animal wound, and that's what she gets. Punishing her by violating her belongings is cruel and emotionally abusive. It teaches her your space isn't yours. Your things can be destroyed. You deserve punishment for small mistakes. That is a small mistake. To forget your tweezers in the bathroom. This strips away a teen's sense of safety, dignity, and privacy. CPS removal kind of confirms that, it's not good what was going on in the house. CPS they don't remove a teenager lightly. For a 15, 16-year-old to be taken out of the home, there has to be some cause for concern, right? Overall mental and emotional impact. This combination of instability, adultification, coercive control, verbal abuse, physical punishment, neglect, betrayal, trauma can lead to anxiety and depression. She said once she moved in with her dad, she had to get on medication for anxiety. It can also lead to panic attacks, fear of adults, poor school performance, running away, disassociation. It can also lead to PTSD or complex PTSD. difficulty trusting partners, high risk of abusive relationships, low self-esteem, people-pleasing or extreme compliance, difficulty forming identity, anger issues, substance abuse to cope. This is not normal Southern behavior. This is not discipline. This is per my research. This is not just how he talks. This is allegedly abuse, neglect, exploitation, wrapped in a dysfunctional relationship dynamic. So I hope that Lindsey can, hopefully watch this and think if this is the way that her man talks, maybe she should send him to a therapist. Maybe she should send him somewhere to say, you know what? I didn't understand that this is what the way that you speak to my child, how it could affect her. And this is literally coming from researching and talking to someone that has a degree in child psychology. And you know what I'm saying? Like, this is how it could affect your child. So maybe rather than saying this is just who he is, maybe say, I didn't realize, how maybe it was affecting her. I didn't realize that, I thought he was joking. He thought he was joking. I didn't realize that it was affecting her so bad. And now I feel bad. And reach out and say, I'm sorry. I did not know that this is how you felt. I thought he was joking. This is kind of the way that he jokes, but it's not okay if that's the way that it makes you feel. And I did get some more screenshots a second ago. So give me a second to get those pulled up. We are Southern as heck, and my boyfriend helped me raise my kids 2 and 5. They're now 12 and 15, and he has never, and would never speak to him like that. Exactly. That is just an excuse, in my opinion. All right, so. Okay, I have some messages. I'm trying to figure out the context for them. All right. Nothing, but I think she actually did. And with that boy and her having that history with jail and stuff and just up and leaving and going to Texas and all that, it just doesn't sit right with me. And I don't think Mylie is telling everything. She is just saying it's horrible. Have you heard from Mylie Grace anymore? No, ma'am. I tried texting her Sunday and haven't heard from her. I don't think Lindsey is letting her have her phone at all anymore. Okay, let me know what happens because I do think she won't let her have her phone anymore. Yes, I did and went good. She definitely needed to get away from that house. She still is hating it over there. She asked me to see if sometime I could maybe bring Sadie with me and go meet with her and have lunch. I think Sadie is a sibling from her dad's side. Okay, I think this is messages between stepmom and one of Mylie's friends. Okay, thank you. She asked me to see if sometime I could bring Sadie with me and go meet with her and have lunch. She said that her mom might let her have Sadie at lunch. I said I could see. We're gonna wait till Blank gets back home and we can go from there. But she is being left by herself with Chad this weekend. Lindsey has somewhere to go. But she said she wanted to stay at Boonville, but she doesn't want to live with her mom at all. Can one of the mods put my email in? It's so crazy how controlling she is to Mylie in her life. I know she's like that with adults in her life, but I can't believe, I guess she treats Mylie this way. I feel so bad for her. Okay, so this is my sheet that was our extra living room in the back of the house. We enclosed it with 2 walls and a door. She now has the biggest room in the house. So Mylie now has the biggest room in the house that they added on to. Finally hung it with my buddy Downs and mine. Oh, okay. This is Matt Byer. Sorry. If Molly's been abused, then why don't call the police on? If Molly has been abused, and then why don't she call the police on Lindsey? They did. They did call the police. Okay, so this is Matt Byer to Lindsay. Yeah. Um, I think Lindsay and Mylie was gonna go see Matt. Um, I guess he was expressing his excitement. Finally hung it out with my buddy Downs and my niece MG, which that's how Matt Byer talks. He calls everybody like he always called me Elle Bee. Like back then I didn't go by Elle Bee, but he is kind of the one that started that. Um, and yeah, he calls her Downs. He always calls people like nicknames. Or he called Amber Portwood, so I don't know. She says, download this app to your phone. There's one or two things to do here. Oh, maybe he was going to go see them. Hang on. No, she was going to go see him. Sorry. Download this on your phone. There's one or two things to do here. She says, hang on. I'm driving home. So yeah, they were going to go see Matt Byer. He really does make his rounds. It's really weird. Really weird. Okay. Thank you. I want to send a few things then. Okay. She says, I'm trying and still getting yelled at. She doesn't parent and blames it all on me. This is why I say you need to be at the house, but you wanted to leave last night. Now nobody is freaking answering. This is, I think, Mylie and her Cammy. You and I are going to work something out. I can't stand this. I'm so sorry. I don't mind helping. We will learn to get better. We will learn to get better without her because I figure she'll make a career out of whatever she's going through to school for. I'll be over tomorrow to take you to VB practice. We'll start then. I'm old and take slowly. That's one reason she didn't go with her grandma right there. Oh, there's the bigger picture. Sorry, guys. Chad, call me when you can. Please always text me when you have girls with you. I was in my dang boxers. LOL. Love you. Be careful. Sorry. We will. Love you too. Nobody told me. My mom knew. Blame her. Oh my God. Now Boston has brought Dixie home and I have no shirt on. Jeez. And there's the when you get done shitting, we got shit to do. No more steaks for you until you learn how to clean the kitchen. All right. Let's see. I have like no source. Girl, me and you both. As much as people have told me how much better she is than me, I wonder how they feel now. Oh, and here's this. This was something just when I was like trying to like find stuff about her. Okay, this is Lindsay Downs' ex and father of Mylie's letter to the judge. This was like way back when. All right, let's see. Dear Judge, my name is deleted for privacy. I'm the father of Mylie, and I've known Lindsay since she was 15. We had a relationship for 6 years. I'm requesting that you show Lindsay little to no leniency in her sentencing today. It would take a significant amount of time to explain to you in detail every reason why she should be punished to the fullest extent. But I will share with you a few of the best that I can. Since Mylie was 3 years old, Lindsay has been wild and living some life she finds exciting, I guess. Mylie has been raised by me and Brenda Downs. Before the drug use, Lindsay and I were engaged while she attended Ole Miss. And within a year, I found out Lindsay had multiple sugar daddies that she had kept secrets. Well, that's not illegal. I can understand why you'd be mad, though. I found out about the other man. She ran off, completely abandoning Mylie. I quit my job and drew unemployment for 6 months to raise Mylie because I had no help from her. And I'm a diesel mechanic who works a lot of hours, so I couldn't do both. She got into drugs and started getting into trouble. After that, maybe about a year later, she took Mylie and ran to Tupelo in August 2015. Mylie missed her first day of school because Lindsay was coming down from meth and passed out. Lindsay would not allow Mylie to hardly ever come to Walnut to see any of our family. You guys probably can't see that. I can barely see it. Sorry, guys. Oh, yeah, I know Deontay. I've done lives with him before. He's cool beans. Lindsay would not allow Mylie to hardly ever come to Walnut to see any of our family. She isolated her and hired two random girls off the internet to come keep Mylie and be her nanny. Thankfully, the two girls she chose ending Nope. Thankfully, the two girls she chose ended up being exceptional women. My daughter may not be alive today if it weren't for them. They stayed when Lindsay left for months and didn't pay them because Mylie had no one and Lindsay was very, very violent. So everyone was scared to do anything. I would stay in Tupelo as much as I was allowed by Lindsay and try to make sure Mylie was okay. But if anything didn't go her way, she made me leave. On occasion, me and a nanny had just gotten Molly to sleep upstairs, and Lindsay would come in with a man and woman. Later come another man, and Lindsay come to us and said, "Stay in here. I'm making the other guy leave." All of a sudden, he beat the man with brass knuckles and a crowbar, and he went running from the front out the front door. There was blood everywhere. Lizzie told me and the nanny to clean the blood up and shut the garage door. They were leaving and they left. Mylie and another child were sleeping upstairs during this. Once Lindsay got put in jail, I took Mylie and brought her to Walnut and didn't look back. I served Lindsay with custody papers when she was getting sentenced the first time, and she illegally forged my signature to custody papers with Brenda and Pharisee. She took my rights away, and I'll never make enough money to fight for her, fight him. She had an affair during our engagement and burnt my house down so I would have to move. I found a journal with her admission to that. I had multiple people show me texts where she was asking to pay them to jump me. She shot up more than one vehicle of mine. She stole two of my cars and totaled them. She took off with a rental car that I got for her and totaled it. Lindsay called after first being sentenced before and was so proud of herself. She told me and my wife, "I'm famous." She has Brenda print off news articles and send to her in the mail so she can hang them up in her cell. She was proud, and I knew at that moment 100% it was more than a drug problem. She has shown severe violence in front of Mylie. Mylie has watched Lindsay shoot someone on more than one occasion. What? Listen, this is his words, not mine. She has been tormented at school due to Lindsay exposing herself and her drug-consumed lifestyle on national television. She has no remorse. Lindsay is a dangerous, selfish person and does not care how her actions affect her daughter or anyone around her. Lindsay needs attention and will get it at any cost. My daughter can't have peace, and no one else can while she is free. While I know it will happen someday, my daughter deserves peace for as long as she can have it until she is old enough to understand. Thank you for hearing me today. I will say that that was in her like the throes of addiction, and I always thought like she overcame that, and it seemed like she was doing so great. So, but that was his letter to the judge years ago. Um, so I don't want to paint the picture that that's still who she is. I don't know. However, I will say what we've learned about the treatment of her daughter and how she allows her man to treat her daughter, definitely not something I think is cool. And I can't say all of this is legitimate. You guys take what you want from this. Ain't no way her mama commented. Oh, yeah, okay. So Lindsay is like commenting on the girl used a sound about Mylie. Don't be shy. You can at me, sis. Ain't nothing worse than a pick me bitch. So a girl did a TikTok and used that sound, and it was about Mylie. And Lindsay commented and said it's not even a flex though, but like a laughy face. So there's this. Is this a teenager? Can somebody confirm? Is there kids in the? Is there kids? Okay, so this is. Oh, okay. Mylie is dating Bo. This is Bo's ex-girlfriend. That is insane. Lindsay, no, ma'am. No. You do not become friends with your daughter's boyfriend's ex. You are 40 years old. Your daughter is 16. You guys are having y'all's issues, but you do not become friends with your daughter's boyfriend's ex-girlfriend who is literally making TikToks about her. Okay, so Bo's ex-girlfriend made a video and used the sound, "Don't be shy, you can have me, sis, ain't nothing worse than a pick me bitch." And Lindsay says it's not even a flex though. First off, if I was Chad, I'd be kind of mad if you talking crap about my son, say my son ain't a flex. On the girl's page, it says she graduates in 2028, so she's a kid. This is not looking good for you, homegirl. Not at all. Not at all. That you're commenting on a child's page. A child is talking crap about your child. Okay, give me just a second to look at this picture really quickly. Okay, so the only there's other kids in this. Okay, well, I'll just tell you guys, I'm getting pictures of Mylie. This is Mylie, right? Like through the years? Okay, this is Mylie with her dad through the years at like different ages. It's with her dad and I guess her stepmom. The only reason I don't want to show them is because there's other children in it. Okay. Okay, yeah. So I mean, she's seen maybe 6, 7 here, maybe 8, 9, 10, probably. I mean, I've just got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just got like 9 pictures of Mylie with her dad throughout the years. So, um, yeah. There's kids. Gotcha. When I watched this video, I felt like she was the way she kept sniffing her nose, talking fast, but this is only video. And, I try not to judge people on that. I did notice the constant sniffling. But I remember one time I was sick, like I had like a really bad like sinus infection or something or allergies, and I was sniffing, and somebody said the same thing about me. Like, oh, she's like sniffling a lot, and I talk fast naturally, so I'm gonna give her grace there. You know what I'm saying? But this is wild. This is wild. I went down the rabbit hole today. There's more to it. I mean, there's more to this. You guys can go on Reddit and look and see if the stuff. Go follow Lindsay over on her Facebook, her Instagram. You can see the stuff that she's posting because she's literally posting about it. She is suing a YouTuber, a content creator, for like talking about this stuff and like doxing her. So I'm going to continue to keep up with this, but I'm just going to say, Lindsay, I can't say none of this is true. You know what I'm saying? You guys go do your own research. Obviously, I believe what we're seeing in the text messages and the way that he talks to her is not cool at all. Not, I don't care who he is. I don't care. I don't care how deep of the South he is from. It ain't deep enough for me. It's not a good look. I think Lindsay, rather than trying to make excuses and defend her man, she just needs to be like, yeah, we messed up some. I mean, she can sit here and talk about how bad Mylie messed up, but she's defending her man with everything. She can't say he messed up. He shouldn't have did this. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I want to hear. You literally, like, if you can understand your 16-year-old maybe having some trauma from the way that she was raised and living the life that she had to live, having you as her mom, and you not giving her no grace, but you're going to give this man grace. I don't know. And to the man, Chad, like, this is a 16-year-old little girl who, like, you could have done so much better by her and showed her, she's got her dad over there, but you could have been an extra father figure in her life to show her how a man treats a woman and what she should find acceptable and not acceptable. If you talk to her that way, then do you think she's going to grow up and think, oh, if my boyfriend talks to me that way, that's okay? Get your ass in here and clean my effing kitchen, or I'm not going to feed you. You know what I'm saying? Like, a little accountability would go a long way. Instead, they're making sarcastic Facebook posts and comments. And yeah, trolling the subject and like commenting on Bo's ex-girlfriend's page. No, that would be the ultimate betrayal to me. That would be another ultimate betrayal. Like, it's already the ultimate betrayal that you are defending him and like painting her to be like the horrible person. That's already an ultimate betrayal and will cause so much trauma for her. And then another ultimate betrayal is you are her mother and you are literally on her boyfriend's ex-girlfriend's page, like mocking them. Insanity. Insanity. Take some parenting classes, guys, or something. Read up on trauma, or what kind of trauma a girl like Mylie, who all that she's been through, what kind of trauma she could already be dealing with. Like, read up on it, educate yourself. Like, you guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. I was mind blown by this. We're going to continue to keep up with it, okay? So if you guys come across something, hit me up in my inbox, netnet216@gmail.com. If you guys follow any of the screenshots you guys think that I should see, we'll continue to keep up with this. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.